Lil' mom, I'm Donnie, big mouth and call me, free bus and rent freeze, these nuts done been squeezed, they want socialism, so he gives them bogus visions, no prescriptions, just open the door, to homeless crackheads coasting with him. His auntie lost her hijab, off when Bin Laden launched her jihad. She's the victim of the most awfulest odds, but she doesn't exist, awfully odd. If you wanna elect a liar, go ahead, that's fine by me. But when that city is burning down, understand that nothing's free. Lil' mom, I'm Donnie, that's my commie, my new daddy who takes care of me. Lil' mom, I'm Donnie, that's my commie, who promises I will be free. Lil' mom, I'm Donnie, that's my commie, my new daddy who takes care of me. Lil' mom, I'm Donnie, that's my commie, he will make everything. Lil' mom, I'm Donnie. New York City zombies, they want higher minimum wage, wanna know why we don't just give it away. He's just a good person, don't like it then you can dig in the dirt then, or hitch a ride on the subway and get murdered for your skin. She didn't deserve this. If you wanna elect a liar, go ahead, that's fine by me. But when that city is burning down, understand that nothing's free. Lil' mom, I'm Donnie, that's my commie, my new daddy who takes care of me. Lil' mom, I'm Donnie, that's my commie, who promises I will be free. Lil' mom, I'm Donnie, that's my commie, my new daddy who takes care of me. Lil' mom, I'm Donnie, that's my commie, he will make everything free.
That nice little ditty was brought to you by my big homie, Logan Lansing. And that's called Lil Mao Mamdani. I think it's a fitting and a very catchy tune. We are back, y'all. Greetings, good afternoon, and welcome back to Apostate Radio. It has been far too long. We are coming back from hiatus, and I want to just give a shout to all of you. I do apologize for having been gone so long. Ellen was here. Hello, Isaiah. Great to see you, my dear. Thank you for joining us today. And Cosmo Savage, good afternoon and long time no see. Great to see you too, man. Great to see you too. Welcome in. Tell your friends, please. We're doing it. We're here. We're here. It's been July has been very, very busy for us. This being my wife and I's, July was our 1 year anniversary, wedding anniversary. And she also had her surgery on at the early part of July, and she's been in recovery since then. And so I want to thank all of you who have asked about her. Thank you all for your prayers, for your well wishes and all that good stuff. It's been really, really appreciated. Oh man, we got a lot to talk about. But first, I do want to just say a few words. It's actually our first something that I've been meaning to talk about, but I haven't done so yet, and that is my Rumble wallet. You know, we hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you're in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem. Now, fast forward to today, and everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stable coins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be set up and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code on the bottom right corner of your screen and download or click the link in the description and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Download Rumble Wallet today and make sure you subscribe to Rumble as well. This is a very, very great, a very big platform. We're doing big things over there. So thank you all for your consideration with that. Okay. Matter of fact, I'll pull this up here, wallet.rumble.com. Would love for you to join the future with that. So, oh boy, let's see. If you want to follow us directly, you can also do so at Isaiah L. Carter. Nino Sabio, who is currently handling a little bit of business, he'll be joining us a little bit later on today. And then you can follow the show's page at Apostate Radio and why. Super chats, if you are on if you're joining us on YouTube, they are available. So if you want to support us directly there, you can. And then of course there is buymeacoffee.com/apostate radio. Also subscriptions, we're going to raise, I'm going to just go up a little bit. We're going from $5 a month to $8 a month on with the subscriptions on my page. And that's about it. Oh, and also Apostate Radio merch is still available. realtimeinc.com/collections/apostate-radio. Please support my brother Josh's company, doing big things, and they also have a lot of good stuff on realtimeinc.com. You will enjoy their product lineup. And so with that, I would like to introduce the chairman and CEO of the Finest Unfiltered podcast. And you want to talk about a guy that's got a lot of big stuff going on. The good lieutenant he's a powerhouse, man, when it comes to speaking truth to power and keeping people holding elected officials accountable, especially here in New York. And he is joining me once again, retired NYPD Lieutenant John Macari. What's up, brother? How are you?
What's up, bro? How you doing, man? Glad to be back. We lost Zeek for a minute. You know, Eric wanted to join us too. Eric was handling some other business, but we lost Zeek for a minute. He's having a little technical difficulties over at his home. So,
okay.
So,
okay. All right. Well, we'll bring him up because Zeek Arkham is scheduled to be here, folks. So we will get him when he's we'll bring him back when he's available. Oh boy. And also shout to Eric Dim, who is supposed to be joining us as well. He is not able to be with us this go round. He is also taking care of business today. We love Eric. He's a great guy, decent, a very decent human being. Eric is, even though a lot of people complained about him, but you know. So what are you up with? So what's up, John? How you been? What are you working on today, man? What you been working on?
We're just, we've been staying center focused around NYPD, around all the ills of New York City when it comes to crime, when it comes to the inner workings of the NYPD, public safety policy that's coming out, public safety legislation that's coming out, political appointees that are placed in leadership, and not only the NYPD and law enforcement across the country. But we've been staying center focused on that. I think that's our speed. That's our lane. We obviously weigh in on politics, on our opinion. We have politicians on there. Election season starting to ramp back up. So we'll start to have some more politicians come on. And, but right now we're center focused on what's occurring inside of law enforcement and the New York City crime picture.
What are you seeing these days recently? Because I've been a little bit off the grid with certain topics, and also with my work schedule changing from day to day, it seems. What are you seeing currently that we should be, that I guess that's top of mind?
Well, I think that's something that's very concerning to New Yorkers is the rise in hate crimes across New York City, particularly against Jewish New Yorkers. And it's something that should awaken everybody, because at the same time, you're being told that hate crimes have nearly doubled across New York City, and they were already at a high number prior to them doubling. You're also being told that New York had the safest July ever. How could those two things be true? I speak to a lot of people, a lot of public safety professionals, and a lot of people who claim themselves to be public safety experts. Nobody could really, they can't really put those two together for me on how that is, because, when you look at hate crimes occurring across New York City, especially those towards like the Jewish community or the Asian communities, they are crimes of opportunity, right? You got some guy walking down the block and he randomly assaults an individual, which is very similar to street crime that occurs in New York City. Random robberies, random assaults against women, against elderly people, larcenies that are done out on the street against elderly and against people that they victimize, like perpetrators victimize. So I think that's something that we've been honing in on as well, and I've obviously been talking about this on my social media, where they shouldn't be moving separately from each other. They all should move together. If crime is on the rise, hate crimes are on the rise. If crime's on the downspurt, hate crime should be on the downspurt. And so when I look at that, it tells me that crime is much higher than it's actually being reported by the NYPD. And I think it's a big problem. And I look at that as a form of corruption, misreporting crime numbers.
Of course it is. I mean, because I'll be honest, like, even though I don't live in New York City anymore, okay, I live north of the city now. I still work there, and I get a lot of shit from people who are like, who basically are, they're like, well, you don't live there anymore, so like, what do you care? But I'm like, I'm still here, okay, and I still see I still see things, okay. I was in Harlem a couple of nights ago, and Harlem is, and granted, I was there late at night. It was after midnight. Like, it looks like shit these days. There's trash in every gutter. I was on Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard. There's trash on both sides of that avenue. And it's a dump. Like I mean, Harlem was always a dump, if we're going to be honest, but it's more of a dump than usual. And then also the type of figures, like, if you like, I don't know if anybody's walked down 125th Street recently, like 125, like even like at 125 in Lex, 125th Street and Lexington Avenue, that was always like The Walking Dead. Right, it was always that, but now if you walk further west, even into like kind of like that central business area, like between Lenox Avenue and Frederick Douglass, it's still bad and getting worse. So it's like, so I don't understand, like, what are people seeing? Like, I don't understand what these politicians are seeing when they say that that crime is down. Like, it's not down. The city is in an obvious state of managed decline. And I just don't understand, like what do these people have to gain from all of this?
Well, I mean, it helps the mayor sit there and say, look, all my policies work. Everything that I'm putting in place is working because crime's going down. I mean, and we're seeing that under even Zohran Mandani. So I sit there and I laugh at public safety professionals that were like, oh, he's the end of policing. And I'm like, now you're sitting here and you're lying. Now you're sitting here and you're bending your integrity to further having Marxist socialist policies come in across New York City, because what everyone is being told is not. Everything that we're doing, everything the left is doing is working, and crime is not only is crime down, Isaiah, in New York City, it's at historic lows, we're being told. And so, you know, the thing that really frustrates me is like when the NYPD puts out a press conference and they talk about crime numbers, those crime numbers are unaudited, right? There's not a third party that comes in and audit. So they give unaudited crime numbers. And then at some point, you know, I think they do it quarterly or biannually. I don't remember exactly how they do it. I've been away a while from the police department, but the police department now audits its own numbers, right? And so no one else, there's no other third party that comes in. The police department will come in and audit the numbers. They'll audit the numbers that they already told you was down in a historic lows. So months later, they're going backwards. They're auditing all the numbers. They basically go into every precinct across New York City, and they take a small random sampling of complaint reports of crimes. And just based upon those small random samplings of complaint reports, every month, every single major crime category, including murders, including shootings, rises. Now, that's been the case, and that is month over month, every month for as long as I can remember. I'm talking hundreds of months here. I'm not talking any breaks in this pattern. There's a pattern where we report crimes down, and then they go back and audit, and crime's actually up. They never give you those numbers again. You know, they don't tell you, oh, hey, we actually audited and we weren't down 2%. We were actually up 8%. And so there was a pattern there for a while where there was about a 3% difference in what the NYPD was telling you to what the actual crime numbers is. And as of recent, that pattern has changed to more about 12, 15%, you know, where crime is up significantly higher. So, and again, that's just on the reports that they're taking. When you speak to people that are being victimized, they're having a hell of a time even getting a report taken. So, you know, we're looking at we don't know what the crime actually is in New York City, because you can't trust the numbers, because the people that are telling you that are down are responsible for not only reporting the numbers, but also auditing them. So it's you don't know what the actual crime picture is in New York City. So I laugh at every media outlet that puts out, yeah, this is the safest month. July is the safest month on record ever. It's like, come on, dude. Seriously?
I mean, again, it's like it all goes back to the way that the communist operates. Okay, it's like the state. It's like they want you. It's so crazy that they cultivate this. They cultivate this environment of you must believe everything that we, the state, tell you. We want you to believe that crime is down, even though we're fudging the numbers and you're getting the shit beat out of you every day in the streets. You're seeing all sorts of foolishness happening, like in the subways. It's bad. In, you know, just on random street corners is bad. There's a video. There's like videos every single day that come out of some assault, of some shooting, of some random ass act of violence. I think there was one in the Bronx, like somebody filmed a guy getting SA'd on the sidewalk in the Bronx. I think like Mount Eden Avenue. Okay, like this guy's getting literally sexually assaulted on the sidewalk at night, and it's like this is not an environment where crime is down. This is an environment where the state is letting things just happen and then telling you that because the crime is down because they're not reporting anything.
No, yeah, it's wild, dude. You know, and like at first I thought it was like a New York issue. I first heard it, and it was about in 2022 when Eric Adams had just came into office. There was an Asian woman, I forget her name, but she was pushed in front of the train, murdered, and basically Adams said There's not a problem. You're safe in the trains. This is a perception versus reality problem.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so I thought that was like a New York thing. And then so for like the last 4 years, all I've been hearing is perception versus reality, perception versus reality. It's continuing now into the Mamdani administration. But I had sat in at a conference with Black Democrat mayors across the country. And when I sat in on that conference, I was like blown away. I almost fell out of my chair because I was like, oh my God, they all sound like Eric Adams. This is a public relations campaign. This perception versus reality campaign is actually just, we're not really going to report the numbers anymore, and we're just going to lie to the public. And so none of it makes sense, because not only do you have the videos of what's happening, we have the numbers. We have the actual numbers in front of us. You know what I mean? And if you compare them to pre-pandemic levels, 2019, crime's up significantly, and that's across the entire country.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's really bad, dude. We just had a report come out this week that across New York City, in the first 6 months of the year, 50 children were shot. 50 children were shot.
50 children, jeez.
And I posted that, and the comments that I got, I mean, they were so disturbing. They were like, you got to put it in context, though. I was like, what? How do you put in context 50 children being shot as you're sitting there and telling you this is the safest version of New York City ever in history? What's the context that you want me to downplay the shooting of 50 children? Why are bullets flying across New York City? Answer that question to me. This is not an acceptable space. And even if it was the best version of New York City, which it's not, it's an unacceptable number. It's 50 kids in the first 6 months of the year. There's no context that I could put that in. That is a public safety failure.
Wow. That's bad. That's really bad. Jesus Christ. Real quick, I just want to go into the chat. Oh, we've got Zeek, but Zeek is back. Let me just go into, let me see. Hood Mayor, New York City said $8 a month. That's a cable bill.
I love Hood. Hood Mayor, what's up, brother?
Hood Mayor, what's good, man? And Hood Mayor says I'm a public safety professional, and Mamdani's policies are not the answer. No, they're not. They're not. Mike is here. 123 said, "What's up, Hood Mayor? Good to see you." Larry Talbot 664. Oh God, best show. Thank you, sir. We just so you know, bro, we have no fava beans and no Chianti, so I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do.
Puts the lotion on its skin.
Right? Exactly. You know what? Maybe we need more Hannibal Lecters. It'll solve the Buffalo Bill problem that we've got in women's sports these days. You know what I mean? Larry Talbot says this whole country is F because of this woke. Yeah. Big Zeke.
What's up, brother? Sorry, man. Power went out.
Power went out.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Right there. I'm sitting by my window so I can have some light, and I'm just using my ear pods. Hopefully I come in okay.
You're coming in fine, brother. We can hear you just fine. Since we've got you, how are you? How is you are recently retired, if I may say that, recently retired. You are the newest Florida man. Yep. minus the bath salts. So how you doing, bro? The last time you were on the show, you barely had a chance to speak, and I want to catch up with you right now. So how you been, man? What's going on?
Well, I barely had a chance to speak, but I'm going to make up for it because I'm going to talk about how Donald Trump invited me to the White House 7 times, and I'm so wonderful, and I haven't won any elections or anything, but I'm so popular, and I'm here in Chicago, and everyone loves me, and all the hood rats, they came up to me, and they were like, you need to run. And I was just like, sure. And then Donald Trump saw me, and he was busy talking to like the head of state somewhere, but when he saw me, he was like, everybody move out the way. Here's Zeke. Oh, he just loves me, and I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I've been to the White House 7 times, and just everyone loves me. I haven't won anything, And I'm still technically considered a failed politician, but everyone loves me and everyone knows me. Was that good enough?
You've been holding, bro. You didn't had that in the trap for months, ain't you? You didn't have that. You've been waiting on that for a lot. You know what, brother? I am. I don't know what to say to that, bro. You know what, man? I don't know, man. Like John and I we were talking about the crime being out of control in New York City, but the numbers are skewed. The numbers are skewed in the favor of whatever the government wants people to believe. Since you are freshly off retirement, retiring, and what were some of the things you saw within the last year or so?
Oh, well, when you make everything legal, of course the crime numbers are going to go down because no one's being prosecuted for anything. When you have a DA's office who declines prosecution on everything, yeah, of course your numbers are going to look wonderful. Sure, absolutely, 100%. So, it's not honest. When you change the definition of what a sexual assault is, and then the true numbers are coming in.
Oh,
that's going to tell you something. I don't have anything personally against Jessica Tisch, the police commissioner. I don't think she was the right person for the job, and I'm going to continue to say that. I do not think that anyone who has never worn a uniform should be in charge of a police department. That would be like me being in charge of nursing at a hospital. I've seen a bunch of stuff on TV. I've spoken to a lot of nurses, but I don't know what it is to actually be a nurse. And it's the same thing with Jessica Tisch. She was the commissioner for communications, which is like handing out radios. You're not doing a blessed thing. And Eric Adams, in another one of his colossal screw-ups, made her PC because he thought he was going to get him favor within a certain voting block, and that turned out to be a colossal failure. And now Mamdani, I have no idea why, probably because no one else wanted to work for him. But now she's doing it. And I think she's a decent person. Like I said, I have nothing personal against her. But when it comes to really clearing the streets and actually doing something about crime, you need someone who has worn the uniform. You need someone who knows what it is to walk a footpost. You need someone who knows what it is to have actually put handcuffs on someone and process an arrest. And she's done none of that. She's a rich kid from, I don't even think she's from Jersey, I think. I'm not sure.
Is she from Jersey?
I don't know.
She's got houses everywhere, bro. So she could be from anywhere.
Houses.
She's an elite.
Yeah.
She's an elite. She's a billionaire heiress. I mean,
but she doesn't know what it is to actually be a cop. I appreciate her support of us. I appreciate how she stood on the sideline and stood with cops, especially against a mayor who was openly anti-cop. But I think it was a mistake to make her PC. And I think the city is suffering not only because of woke liberal leftist policies, but because you have a commissioner who not by her own fault, doesn't truly know how to fight crime. And that's it.
No. And Nino has now joined us, brother. Good to see you, man. How you been? Uh-oh. I can't hear you, bro. Yeah, your mic's not on, dude. I can't hear you. What do you? There's something I actually want to ask you two. Yeah, I still can't hear you, bro.
You hear me now?
There we go. Perfect.
Now we're cooking with grease.
Yes, beef tallow, preferably.
I want to say one thing, man. I was listening to our good friend Zeek, and just want to say, man, if you're anti-cop, if you're an anti-cop mayor, you're a pro-crime mayor. Just so everybody understands that.
That's right.
Like, that's the only other thing that could be possible. You're anti-cop, you're pro-crime. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, this is the same guy who said that crime is just a social wording. and he thinks that criminals can be solved with hugs and warm fuzzies. He actively wants to close Rikers Island and establish smaller jails in all the boroughs. And what that's going to do is now you have anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 criminals who are going to be cut loose and set free. And that's going to impact
and that's
black and brown neighborhoods. But these aren't the people who voted for him. Yeah, no,
see, they're going to behave. They're going to behave. They're going to let them out of prison. Whatever they did, and they're going to behave. Because the socialism's rules now, and they went to some kind of fucking woke class, and they're going to behave. And they talk to a social worker. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Everybody knows that. It's going to be fine. Guys who were in prison, they didn't come out. They're going to be fine. Nothing to worry about.
I've even, what's crazy? I've even seen so the jail that's getting replaced in downtown Brooklyn. I saw that thing. It doesn't even look like a jail. It really doesn't. It looks almost like a luxury penthouse building. I'm dead serious. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if either one of you guys have seen it. But
I thought it was housing. Same thing. I thought it was housing. I went, wait a minute, this is a prison? Oh boy.
Well, you got to remember one thing. How did Stalin look at prisoners? How did they look at them? They looked at them as the good people. It was the people that were political opponents. They were the actual criminals. The criminals were advocates of the state. So, the whole thing's a disaster. And this was a Democratic plan going all the way back to Andrew Cuomo. If you guys remember during COVID, they got the jail numbers in Rikers. They got it down to 4,000, which I believe the borough-based jail system only holds about 4,000. And remember, de Blasio put out a statement and he said, we have less people in prison today and we're safer for it. Do you remember when he made that statement? And so the borough-based jails come all the way back from that time in Cuomo. Yeah. And so right now, the prison population in Rikers has went back up to near 8,000 people. So they're moving right ahead with this plan with Rikers Island. And we're going to go to the borough-based jail, but no one's saying how they're going to, what are they going to do with the other 4,000 people? Borough-based jails only hold 4,000 people, but today we have 8,000 prisoners. And if we continue to arrest people and prosecute people only for the major crimes, what we're doing, more than likely that is going to continue to grow that population. No one could answer, what are you going to do? And so Zeke's 100% right. They're more than likely going to just dump these people right back out on the street.
But my thing is, who
and make voters out of them.
What neighborhoods are going to dump them into? Black and brown neighborhoods.
Black and brown neighborhoods.
This directly affects the people who voted for Mamdani because they thought he was going to be this megastar. But now you got criminals back in your own neighborhood, and what they're going to be doing, they're going to be robbing you. So
who doesn't want an influx of former prisoners and felons in their neighborhood? I don't get the controversy here. Who doesn't want that? That's great. You come over, you knock on the door. Oh, you're new to the neighborhood. You're new to the neighborhood. We baked you a cake, and that's fine. And then, hopefully they don't try to steal your car or rape somebody you love or hurt you or burn something down or have an episode, a mental health episode. But that aside, it's great.
He's going to get his violence interrupters to go in and fix that problem.
Violence interrupters. What a novel fucking concept that is.
That's about all they're going to do is interrupt the violence for a second or two. That's about all they're going to do. For about 30 seconds until the. Listen, I have said this about this obsession with with getting rid of cops, getting rid of jails. This these communists love to talk about getting rid of the carceral state. Okay. It is the most immature, childish form of school of thought I have ever come across. The idea that violent criminals. My dad is a retired correctional officer, right? And he would tell us growing up about he was a correctional officer from 1990 up until I want to say 2012, 2013. And this guy and my dad would tell us
stories of how the criminal element operates, even in jail. So this notion that these that the criminal element is just going to magically wake up and be decent people after you've gotten enough hugs and enough government subsidies from the state, which essentially equal out to bribes for votes and political enforcement. I don't. It's so childish. It's like it's the one thing that's always struck me about communism in general. It's this elementary school. It's like you're literally dealing with a toddler level understanding of the world. And people voted for this shit because they wanted a free bus ride, to borrow from Pastor Manning. But
it's also part of subversion and demoralization, man. The real communists know that this is something to overwhelm the system, demoralize people, make people not trust the system, not trust cops, not trust the government, and they love it. They love to see things get deteriorated further, so they could be like, well, we just need to change the whole system. Let's make it communism. Either that, or there's also obviously a lot of foreign influence in our country, a lot of money pushing this stuff in the kids' heads because they're our enemies and they want us to fail as well. So there's a lot going on, man.
Hey, Hood Mayor New NYC says blame Reverend Paul Martin, Esquire, and William Lynch III for Tish. What? Either one of you guys know what that's about, John? You know what that's about?
I don't. Nah, he always references Hood Mayor always references that Reverend. But I got to be honest, I never really deep dived into him.
Okay. Yeah. This one here is interesting. NYPD with stat stuff and low level crimes, sort of like LeBron doing.
So look, the thing with Tish is that she is very useful, right? She's a billionaire heiress. She is part of the most influential family in New York City. So if you keep her happy and you keep her with you in your administration, you're not going to get all of the criticism you deserve, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hesitant to criticize Jessica Tish. I mean, drive around Manhattan, the Tish name is on nearly a building on every block. You know what I mean? You're not going to get a lot of guys that are going to come out like Zeek and say, look, I got no problem with her personally, but I don't think she should be the police commissioner. If you look across law enforcement spectrum, if you look across the media spectrum, Jessica Tish is the second coming of Jesus Christ. And, everything is fine in New York City. And you could take the train at 3:00 in the morning. Don't worry about all the felony assaults that are happening, and this is the narrative that they're pushing, because it's only MTA workers and cops that are being assaulted. And that's why the assaults are so high. And it's like, do you think that people feel safe when they hear that? Because that doesn't make me feel too safe. It's only cops and MTA workers being assaulted. Oh, okay.
Only cops and MTA workers. First off, I have never
why is that excusable?
They're trying to say, like, you as the average citizen have nothing to worry about. Go ride the train. Don't worry about it. Go walk in the street. Don't worry about the rise in felony assaults is only against city workers. Don't worry about it. And if you think about that logically, it's like the dumbest thing. It's like, wait, so cops are getting assaulted and I should feel safe?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they're also telling you not to believe your lying eyes, because they'll tell you over and over again, oh, the city's safe. It's never been safer. Crime is down. This is a completely safe city. We're the safest big city in the world. And yet any New Yorker walking around is going, yeah, but I don't feel safe. I'm watching people get robbed. I'm watching people sell drugs in the corner. I'm watching people smoke weed right in the open. I'm talking to my neighbors. I'm listening to their stories about how they got robbed. We're all seeing and experiencing the same thing. I do not feel safe. And yet they're going to tell you over and over again, no, but you are safe. But you are safe. Don't believe yourself. Don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe your lying ears. Don't believe your lying neighbors. You're safe. And it's a lie over and over and over again.
It's an insidious lie. And the one thing, the question I was going to ask is, and maybe y'all can help me understand this. Why is there so much disdain for transit workers and all of these other blue collar workers. It's like, oh, well, it's just transit. It's just MTA workers who are getting assaulted. It's like, okay, so you obviously have no sense of, like, you have no sense of care for train operators, conductors who are who are literally operating the trains and going through the subway system. We're talking about trains that can at times have multiple incidents happening on one train in one interval. And it's like, it's just like complete disregard. It's like a culture of disregard for the very people who are making the city go, who are keeping the city moving. I don't understand why that is.
Well, the thing is, city workers really lost their power when they gave away their voting blocks. You know what I mean? I think the unions have a big part in that. If you go back to the foundings of New York City, right when it was formed, and if you look at the power that even the police department had, mayors would run and campaign like, I'll give you the guys the tours you want, because we were a solid voting bloc that lived in New York City. So now you have all these municipal worker groups that live outside of the city. You have unions that willingly give their power away and their voice and their backing to the Democratic establishment without the Democrats having to do anything for city workers. And we're just looked at as plebs. You know what I mean? They're going to come in and they're going to work here, and they're privileged to work here. And you know what? And it doesn't matter. I don't need them to win an election, so I could do whatever I want to them. I could say whatever I want, and I don't have to really pander to them at all. Where in the past, if you look, or even all the way up until the late 90s, early 2000s, politicians on both sides pandered to city workers. Today, none of them do it because they don't consider us as a viable form of getting elected.
Just to add to what John said, also, you have other unions that are stepping up who are in bed with these candidates. You have the DC 37 union in New York, which is in bed with guys like Mamdani. You have the teachers unions who are in bed with Mamdani. And now it looks like all the cop unions are thrown to the wayside. Besides that, they understand a lot of their members, like John said, can't vote in the city. Because I lived on Long Island. You got guys who live upstate, so I mean, they don't have to pander to us anymore. And just to borrow off something else John said, talking about talking about Stalin. When you look at Marxism, there is no middle class. You are either the oppressed or the oppressor.
Yep.
So you're either the bourgeoisie or you're the proletariat. And they have to appeal to everyone being the oppressed. So they have to appeal to the criminals because you're oppressed by the police. They have to appeal to the quote unquote middle class because you're oppressed by the billionaires and the multi-millionaires. That's why he's doing his stupid pied-à-terre tax. You have to appeal to them to make them feel like they're oppressed and that you are the one who's going to come in and liberate them. It's classic Marxism to the T. And that's who he's appealing to. People no longer care about crime in their neighborhoods. They no longer care so much anymore about feeling safe. They no longer care about any of that. They want to feel like they're the oppressed, and they need someone to get them out of their oppression so that they can be who they always needed and wanted to be for the future.
It really does hurt. I mean, and like I said, I guess as someone who still works in New York, I guess I kind of fall in that category myself, because it's like I don't vote in I don't. Matter of fact, I left. Me and my wife and I, we left the city right before the election. We left in October of 25. And the election was like a few weeks later. So we didn't get a chance. So like we couldn't, like legally, we could not, a voice we wanted to lead the city, right? So you're right. They don't have to listen to us anymore. They don't have to listen. They don't. It's like whatever. Like, we're gonna do whatever we want. And Sarah Connors says, John's right. Look at who's being catered to now. White transplant gentrifiers. They go out to vote. Got Mamdani in along with these other new DSA candidates. New York City residents, for some reason, don't vote. It's because they're at fucking work. They're working. They're working, okay? Your transit worker who lives in, let's say Brooklyn or whatever, your transit worker who's living in Queens or the Bronx, they're working. They're at work. They got stuck on a double, right? They got stuck on a double on the 3 train. They ain't worried. They can't get out to vote when it's time when it's time. They don't, and to be honest with you, and I don't know about you fellas, but I'm convinced they don't want native New Yorkers voting.
I totally agree, dude. I was in New York almost all summer so far. I just got back to Florida, and I'm at my mother-in-law's house, and the election had just came up, like the Democratic primaries, and she kept going, "Do you know who's running?" I was like, "You live here. You don't know who's running in your election?" And then all her friends would come over. Did they like, "You know who's running?" I was like, "How don't you know what's occurring in your own city?" And look, I blame the media for it. Like they want to dumb down population. People aren't politically savvy. Like you said, if you look at New York City, you go there. We got young people working. You got all these transplants coming in. You go around Manhattan right now. There's tons of young people everywhere. You know what you don't see a lot of? Families. You don't see a lot of working families. And then you see a lot of elderly because New York City gives a lot of stuff to the elderly, right? They have Access-A-Ride. They have all the Medicaid-friendly places. And, elderly population's more likely to vote. But even when you talk to them, they're still very apathetic. They're like, the politics of the city always sucked. I don't even care. And so they don't go out and vote. And so what you get is these Western kids, young kids coming in, and they all want socialism. He's going to freeze my rent. I'm going to get free groceries. I'm going to have fast and free buses. I hate all you guys driving your cars and your pickup trucks. This should be a bike city like Amsterdam. And that's the people that are getting out there, and they're the hard target, and they're the voters.
Speaking of which, John and Zeke, I got something to show you. Because your boy, Clarence Erickson of Street Films is up to his usual tricks.
I don't know who that is.
Street Films. So for those of you who don't know, Clarence Erickson is the head honcho of Street Films. Streets Pack. Like you probably heard of Streets Blog. I know John's heard of them. But they're basically urbanists. Okay, they are urbanists. Urbanists are commies, right? These are the ones who are trying to destroy individual movement. They're trying to get your cars off the road. They want to throw everybody in. They want to throw everybody in the train, like in the subway system, while doing nothing to actually clean up the system. And so he's bragging about some street that got completely fucking gentrified, and it literally, I mean, you can see from the video here, it literally looks like an acid trip. It looks like an acid trip. Like he says, traffic got evicted. Hold on, let me pull this up here. Traffic got evicted is one of the best branding campaigns ever. Thank you, Hudson Square, NYC. New Manhattan Pedestrian Square has one of the best street murals ever. I took a 4-mile-per-hour bike NYC ride through so you can experience the flow. It's like this is so like ridiculous right here. Hold on, I'm gonna just let this play through. It's only 38 seconds, but this is just, look at this shit.
Why must everything look like it's made for little children by these people?
Because these people are fucking children that never, their children never grew up.
This looks like
right
a fucking
by the Ducati dealer.
Looks like a child park or something. I don't.
Spring Street. Where is this? This is seems wrong.
Dude, I like to call it artificial congestion, because that's what they do. They put bike lanes in, they put these sitting areas in, they put bus lanes in, and what do? They just condense the traffic further and further and further. And then there's so much congestion here. We have to tax you guys more. We have to create this congestion tax price, and that'll alleviate the traffic. And guess what? What happened when they put in congestion pricing? Nothing. I paid a lot more money to drive around Manhattan this summer. And what happens? Congestion's worse than it's ever been. Why?
Yep.
Because they're continuing to narrow these streets with projects like this. Artificial congestion. There is a clear-cut anti-car agenda. It's been in New York City for a while, and now I've watched the first New York City agency that I've ever witnessed, New York City Department of Traffic. They are an advocacy agency for this anti-car agenda. It's unbelievable, dude. I was like, I don't understand how this is legal. Like, what's happening here?
The Department of Transportation have been in bed with Riders Alliance, Streets PAC, and what's the Transportation Alternative?
Yeah,
Streets Blog. Well, Streets PAC. They're an actual political action committee, and so, but in fact, and Transportation Alternatives or Transalt. Like, there are people who work for Transalt that literally have the hammer and sickle tattooed on their wrist. Yep. I have seen the video. Like, when they were turning, because you know what they've done now with Canal Street in Manhattan. It's like illegal. It's like illegal alien boulevard with all these Africans and shit selling. The Africans have taken over what the Chinese were doing like for decades, like selling all those fake bags and stuff. They're literally doing what they've stepped all over the Asian community down there. But what they've done, John, is now the speed limit on Canal Street is 20 miles an hour,
and it's going to go to 10. And then it's going to go to 5. And they're going to keep putting, and that's why they put those traffic cameras everywhere, those red light cameras and those speed cameras. And that's why Transalt, Streets Blog, the DOT, they all put that super speeders bill out. And you know, people were supporting it. They're like, oh, if you get over 15 speed tickets, you should get your license suspended. We should suspend your registration. And I'm like, that's going to be all of you once the speed limit's 10 miles an hour, which is coming. That's going to be the next push. Right now, what they're very upset about and they're going out is NYPD blocker cars. NYPD blocker cars are traffic violence. They're stopping people from moving freely. And what a blocker car is like when we have a parade or there's a demonstration or something, we'll literally block the street with our cars. So you have a police officer there in a vehicle to stop a ramming terrorist attack from happening. So they're trying to keep these people safe. And you have a Streets Blog and all of these other people writing about how blocker cars are traffic violence. This is a real article I read yesterday, and I spit my coffee everywhere. It was like the funniest thing I've ever read in my life. They are insane.
Kidding? Do you have the link to that?
It's up on Streets Blog. It's on their Instagram. It's on their X. They actually put out a little video about it too, showing how awful these men and women are that are willing to risk their lives so that they're safe. It's unbelievable. It was either yesterday or the day before, but I watched it yesterday. And
do you say they called it?
The next push will be 10 miles an hour. I guarantee it. I will bet money on it. If somebody puts a bet out there, I'm all in. You know.
Did you say they called it traffic violence?
Traffic violence.
I'm looking at
parking the car there.
Right
yeah,
I'm looking it up right now.
And if you were ever in an accident, you're a victim of traffic violence. So if you were ever in a vehicle accident, dude, I'm telling you, it's like, you know, look, and I know there's a larger agenda behind it, but a lot of these people are just useful idiots. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are just very useful idiots. You know,
I don't have my reading glasses on. Is his name Danny Red? Danny Red 477.
Danny Red, yeah.
Yeah. He says these Ohio idiots. Sorry, I don't have my reading glasses on. Need to go home. Here's my problem with what I don't have a problem with what he's saying, but here's to add to that. Thomas Sowell said that the worst people to make decisions are the people who don't reap the benefits from those decisions or reap the consequences from those decisions. Mamdani is from Uganda. If anything happens, after he screws up the entire city, he can get back on the plane him and his ugly wife, and go right back to Uganda. They nothing happens to them. All these transplants from Ohio or the Midwest or wherever they're coming from, once the city is all screwed up and it's burning, they can go back where they came from with their rich parents and their stock options and everything else that they bought. They can pick up and go right back home. They don't want native New Yorkers to vote because native New Yorkers are going to be the ones who are stuck holding the bag after everything else is all screwed up. Once Mom Donnie screws everything up, they're going to be holding the bag. Once all these transplant voters decide, you know what, we don't want to live in New York anymore because it's not what we dreamed it was, they're going to be the ones holding the bag. This is why they don't want native New Yorkers voting. Native New Yorkers support the cops. Native New Yorkers don't want the African immigrants all over Canal Street. I see it all the time. I saw it my last day working. You see them, they set up shop. Native New Yorkers don't want what's going on Roosevelt Avenue right now in Queens, where it's another open air market / red light district. Native New Yorkers don't want that. But Mamdani is screwing everything up, but he's got a safety cushion. All these transplant voters, they're voting for the people who screw everything up, the DSA candidates, Mamdani, everybody else, but they've got a safety cushion. Native New Yorkers don't. And if Native New Yorkers don't wake up and really start pushing back against this, what happened in Detroit is going to happen in New York. I can guarantee it.
Well, I got something else. There's only 2 northbound streets in that part of Williamsburg where car traffic can go northbound: Kent Avenue and Bedford Avenue. These guys are essentially trying to put all the traffic on Bedford going northbound. This is like, these people are insane.
Dude, the bikes have replaced the masks. That's what it is. It's like a complete virtue signal, dude.
I hadn't even thought of that.
The bikes have replaced the mask. You're like,
shit.
look at me. And it's like, no, dude, nobody wants to look at you. Get the fuck out of the way while we're driving. Like, well, we got to go to work or we got to do whatever we want.
Oh my God.
And like,
my question is, these people with their organic food and their non-GMO this and their gluten-free that, how are they going to get it to their stores? What trucks are going to be allowed to go down the street to get their supplies to their stores? Have they thought this through? Or do they just want to, just like John said, oh, look at me, I'm on a bike, I'm wonderful, I'm healthy, I'm helping the environment. What's it coming from?
They're gonna have to deliver the food on an armada of bicycle baskets.
yeah, and recently, like what's happening is they're just putting bike lanes everywhere, and they're putting like these protected huge planter pots out on the street. And they've taken no consideration into public safety. Like, how does a food truck turn on this block? Oh, they can't. How does a fire truck responding to a fire turn on this block? They can't. So there's numerous videos that have arose of firefighters on their way to an emergency having to get out of the truck, move these huge potter plants, block the bike lane just so they can make a turn. So Joanna Ariola put in legislation that actually passed in the Communist City Council. It actually passed where it said that you have to now, before you put a bike lane in, the firehouse in that neighborhood has to okay it to say, yes, we could get down the block, or no, we can't. They're working now to undo that, and they have a policy in place now that they're working on to become law. And if that becomes law, it's going to override that. It's going to override that law, and what it's going to do is give complete control to the Department of Traffic, and they could just put a bike lane in wherever they want. They don't have to consult with FDNY. They don't have to consult with any other agencies. And so basically, people, not only are they're going to have businesses that are going to close up, people are going to die as a result of it. And people have died as a result of this. I mean, delaying response times even more than they've already been delayed with the lack of staffing and the artificial congestion that we've already placed in. People die.
You know what? Maybe, and this is going to sound insensitive, but it really is not. Maybe that just needs to happen so that people can wake up. But you know what, though? No, because what the first thing that the DSA is going to say is, oh, well, no, it's not our fault. It's the fire department. Why do they need those giant trucks? Why can't they just learn how to maneuver down the street? And why can't they just learn how to... So, excuse me, maybe there is no light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe it's just going to be someone died, and the DSA is going to go, hey, don't look at me. Don't, it's their fault. It's their fault. Because again, they cannot be the oppressor. They have to be the oppressed. The oppressor in this case is going to be the fire department. Look what they did. No, we have to defund the fire department now. That's what we got. No, we have to reimagine the fire department now. That's what we have to do. So that's what's going to happen.
You know the Amazon bikes around New York City where they ride the bike and it's the Amazon truck? They're going to reimagine a fire truck to look like that. If they were just driving this, they wouldn't have a problem getting past the plot plant. It's like, yeah, well, they wouldn't be able to get on the building either to fight the fire.
This is the cycle here. Praxis creates problems, externalize blame, propose praxis as solution, and this is the communist cycle. They never once consider that the things that they actually want to do might really be the problem. I've never seen like this frustrates me because it's like the more like you're literally trying to fit a round peg in a square hole. It's not going to. Matter of fact, no, you're trying to fit a round peg in a star-shaped hole. Okay. It's not going to work. It can't. It can't work. Normal people understand that all of these bike lanes, planter pots, this artificial congestion, all of this stuff is basic. It's lethal to small businesses, big businesses alike. It's lethal to the actual workings of the city and keeping people moving. It's lethal to the middle class because here's the thing. You have people who are working in all of the municipal services, right? Cops, firefighters, EMS, transit workers. They can't just get on a train. Some of these titles within all of those municipal departments, they need their own cars. They have to get around independently. They can't just simply wait because listen, late is late. You want to save safe seconds, but yet you're not doing anything to actually help people. Like transit is what's wild to me. Congestion pricing, $9, right? To drive through the richest, whitest parts of Manhattan. And they will expand it too, okay? Bridges and tunnels. All these exorbitant, it's called, like if you have an easy pass, it's like what, $7, $8 across the Triborough Bridge or something like that. And then it's like $15 if you don't have an easy pass. Did you guys know that transit employees, you work for the MTA and you cannot get a deal on any tolls in the city of New York?
Isaiah, let me just, if I can just jump in for a second.
Go right ahead.
What you're saying is common sense. You're asking these DSA worshipers, these socialists, these transplants who think that if you just tax the rich enough, that you can pay for everything. That if you just completely defund the Department of War because you should just have peace and you should just have understanding and you should just learn to live with neighbors and you should just learn to, if you completely defund the Department of War and you completely defund these people, and if you completely defund that, you will have enough money that you could pay for food and peace and health and medical and everything else like that.
You
think that you're dealing with these people and none of it is real life. None of it applies to actual real life boots on the ground stuff. These are people who've never had jobs. These are people who have never had real life experience. These are people who haven't done anything besides live off of mommy and daddy. So this is what you're asking these people to understand, and it just does not compute.
That's funny too. That's absolutely right. And it's funny how John says that, like, they, what was it? They don't even look at the safety of, like, where they put these things before they do it, for whether it's for fire department, for police. And it's like, they're very, they're worried about the safety of criminals always, right? They're always worried about the safety of like insane people, criminals, homeless people who are acting violently. Super worried about that. Never really worried about the citizens, right? Never really worried about law-abiding citizens, people who actually work, native New Yorkers. They don't really care much about them, clearly, when they just don't even. I mean, and also if you look at the, like California and probably plenty of blue states where the EPA is so important, which in some ways it is, in some ways they probably a lot of overreach, right? Where like you can't build anywhere, can't do almost anything without somebody coming in and being like, oh, this is going to affect like a local insect that's endangered or something like that. And it's like, where the hell is this? Where the hell is like the thinking about just people who live in the city, working class citizens, law abiding citizens, where they can't even think for 2 seconds, like, hey, should we put this giant flower pot or whatever barricade over here where the fire department clearly can't turn around, and that's going to lead to people's houses burning down, people having strokes or heart attacks or whatever they're helping out with, because you got to be there in seconds. No, that they really only seem to care about like wildlife, so they can just fucking pull money away from people as much as possible. And they care about about criminals. It seems like it's always criminals. It's always criminals and illegal immigrants. It's very it's really backwards.
Dude, there's no.
I'm sorry, dude. I gotta go. My wife is at the train station. I gotta pick her up.
All right, Zeke.
All right.
Thanks for coming, brother.
No problem. Yeah, thanks for coming on, bro. We appreciate it, man.
Be safe. Sorry about the delay. Sorry about the power outage and all that.
It's all right, brother.
I'm officially a Floridian now. I have my first power outage.
Stay safe out there, bro.
Yeah, be careful, dude.
Gentlemen,
right,
thank
brother.
you so much.
Later.
Yeah.
All right, later.
Yeah, but like
crazy.
talking about the safety, like that was one of the things that we were pushing back at the Democrat Party for a long time with this city of yes, saying, you have all this building code in the city. You say you care about residents so much, and yet you're going to let people build everywhere and do everything, and you're going to bring down all of these safety codes, and you're going to have huge problems in the city. And now what do we see? We see all these conversions that are happening into affordable homes from commercial real estate. What's going on? What's happening now? All of these construction projects, they all have halts on them. Why? Because the steel they were using was wrong, the engineering wasn't right, and you're endangering thousands of lives. And it's complete incompetence, and it's being done by people saying, we're going to fight against the oligarchs. It's like, really? Because it looks like you just gave them free reign to do whatever the hell they want with zero oversight while you're pushing all of your nonsense for votes. And so it's never about safety. That's just a guise that's used. It's a complete guise. They do not care about the safety of people. I mean, you could see it clear as day. There's a murder on the train, or like a bad stat comes out about the train. You see what the politicians do, and then all of their lackeys, they jump down on the train. They don't take the train to work, right? They get driven around, chauffeured around by an NYPD cop with a firearm on their hip, or multiple NYPD cops. And then they go down and they're like, look, I'm in the subway. It's safe here. It's like, you went down for 5 seconds. You're not riding the subway to and from work. You went down with armed security, by the way. And traditionally, when those things happen, I was on 42nd Street last month. I had to go to an off-Broadway show that my friend produced. I go to the off-Broadway show. There's a dude shooting up right on Broadway, literally like nobody's business. There's cops everywhere. No one's doing anything. And I look around and I'm like, this whole street's closed down. What the hell's going on here? And then all of a sudden, a swarm of NYPD cops come. They move all the homeless. They move all the drug addicts. They're like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. So I'm like, I think they're just cleaning up the block for the tourists. No, they're cleaning up the block for a media shoot. Who rolls up 8 SUVs deep? 8 SUVs deep with armed securities. Oh, guess who it is? Our little 33-year-old silver spoon socialist, Zohran Mondani, comes rolling up, and it looks like, 42nd Street's great. It's clean. It's like it wasn't clean 5 seconds ago. There was just a dude shooting up, and you sent an army of cops here. Not only have you sent an army of cops here, you rolled here with another army of cops. So you're full of shit.
Right. No, that's so true, man.
I'm speechless with that. I do want to ask you. Oh, Silver Bell for you says, I never thought I would leave New York City, but now I can't wait to get out. I hear you. I mean, let me ask you a question, and maybe maybe you're the, I don't know if you would be the right one to ask. I mean, I know you still have much dealings in New York City. But what do you say to somebody who might be like who's lived in New York City all their lives or lived a significant portion of their lives in New York City, and they're seeing all this stuff and they're like, you know, it's time to go? What do you say to people who are?
I would say, wow, I'm surprised it took you that long. I'm surprised it took you that long. Like, you know, look, I would never planned on leaving New York City. If it wasn't for COVID, if it wasn't for Eric Adams literally forcing me out of my career and not allowing me to eat in restaurants or go shopping without showing a vaccine card, I didn't have that in my mind that I was ever going to leave, right? I never thought I would leave New York City, but then I was like, oh, well, what the hell am I going to do? I can't work. I can't eat. I can't go to after school activities. My kids can't go to school. Like, there was nothing we could do. I mean, we were literally forced out of New York City. But once I left, I was like, wow, I've been living like an animal my whole life, and I never knew it. I've been living like a complete animal, and I never knew it that I wasn't. And I would say, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I've traveled. You know, I still love New York City. It's my home. It'll always be my home. My parents are buried there. My grandparents are buried there. My cousins, my uncles. I'll be buried there. But I could see why people don't want to live it. It's not a family friendly, conducive environment.
Right.
It's not an environment, especially if you're a Catholic today in New York City. I don't think it's the city. I think it's left you out. I think when you look at if you're looked at as a white resident or you're no part of New York City's racial equity plan. Like, they're literally telling you they don't want you there. You're not part of our government. We don't want you part of our government. We want equity for all except for you. You're part of you're part of the evil majority, and it's okay for us to discriminate against you because we don't believe in the Bill of Rights and we don't believe in the United States Constitution. So if we deem you a majority group, even if it's not actually true, it's perfectly acceptable for us to discriminate against you, and it's written into New York City policy. So I don't blame absolutely anyone. I would never try to talk anyone out of leaving. I still own property in New York City. I'm still there often, and I haven't been able to bring myself to sell it and really just completely divest and get away from New York City because it is my home, but it's disgraceful what it's turned into, and every single problem that New York City is facing is a politically created problem. Every single one.
I mean, I can't imagine how tough that would be, like, especially these days, because if you sell your house right now, I mean, don't you have to deal with, like, I don't know if it's in effect, but isn't that COPA shit about to happen? Where, like, if you sell your, if you sell your property, you got to give, like, a city affiliated nonprofit the chance to actually like the first right of refusal.
I think it's for 6 families and over. I think it's for like apartment buildings. I don't think it's for regular homes. But I mean, look what just happened. My home, one of my homes on Staten Island is valued at $995,000, right? And if like inflation's going to rise, right? So in 6 months, my home will be valued at $1 million, and I'll be on a list where my address is publicly accessible and everyone could see, oh, look, that's John's second home. Let me dox John. Oh, and hey, squatters, you're looking for a place to squat? Here's a second home in New York City. Oh, burglary crews across the world and across the state and across New York City. You're looking for second homes that aren't often occupied, that are over $1 million? Here, we're going to give you this easily accessible database that you could, instead of you having to do all the research to go burglarize people's homes when you're looking at high-end homes, here, we did all the work for you. Your lovely mayor, New York City, Zohran Mamdani, said, here you go. These homes more than likely aren't occupied for months out of the year, and they would be a perfect target for you to target. Maybe if you want property, or maybe you just want to steal their copper, or maybe you want to go in and you want to steal some of their systems, their air conditioning system, things of that nature, or squatters just want to go in there and take your home. So, I mean, like, there's things that are happening that I'm sitting there and going, maybe it's not a good idea to own property there. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the same city, you know?
It's all by design.
Yeah. So, John, when you said, that's a good point. And, when you said that, like, there's treating Catholics, for example, and white people, I think in general, as like a minority that they don't care about, especially the socialists. I mean, you have Sia Weaver, right, the housing woman tenant or whatever from Mamdani saying one of her goals is to impoverish the white middle class, I believe was the quote.
Yep.
I mean, I don't. That's one strategy. I know. Oh, I believe her too, man. It's a sick.
They've been trying to do it to me since 2022, bro. So I believe her. Like
impoverish the white middle class. I mean, what a thing to say, man. What a person to have on your team. Like, I don't know. But anyways, what I wanted to ask you is, speaking of Catholics, it's like, what do you think about these churches burning down? I think there's been a couple recently.
Yeah.
And there's been across Europe, there's been, I think, like 1,500 or something, or 2,000 churches burned down in the last 10 or so years, something like that. Across the United States, it seems to be happening more and more. But New York, I think there's been at least like 2 or 3 in the last year or two, right? Something like that. At least 2, I think.
Well, so the thing across New York is, especially this month in July, there has been dozens upon dozens of desecrations of saints in front of Catholics' homes and Christians' homes. Dozens, all reported in the media. There's been attacks on Catholic churches throughout New York City in July. And then the NYPD had the audacity to release their hate crime numbers. And guess what was not listed on it? There was not one Catholic or Christian hate crime supposedly reported. Meanwhile,
they don't count.
I watched numerous news reports. I spoke to reporters about it. I spoke to elected officials about it. And I'm like, I don't understand like when the Catholic Church is going to wake up, or Christians across New York City or across the world are going to wake up. But you are under attack, clearly under attack, because the same way the rugged individual American male is under attack. They want to emasculate us and make us subservient and weaken us, is the same way they want to do to Christians across the world, because we are rugged individuals as well who do not bow to government, because we do not fear death, because we believe in our Savior Jesus Christ, and we follow the edicts of Jesus Christ. And ultimate morality is the ultimate morality, and truth is what we guide our lives by, not lies of another man who's a sinner like we are.
Amen.
And so like that's
Amen.
why we're very under attack. We were under attack very hard during COVID as well. And again, I say, where's the advocacy on the part of the Catholic Church? Where are our Catholic leaders? I don't see them, and that is why we're not reporting. Like if you saw the hate crime reporting today, that came out that said that hate crimes against Jewish New Yorkers are up 47%. The only reason that is properly documented and those reports are recorded and documented and investigated is because the Jewish community are strong advocates for themselves. They understand the inner workings of the police department, and they make sure that those hate crimes get documented, get classified correctly, and get prosecuted. Where us as Catholics, we don't do any of that.
That's interesting, man. That's totally. I mean, it seems like you're right. It's totally happening. The Catholic Church too seems oddly emasculated and defanged, I think. I mean, you see, like, it seems like the popes are always woke now. I see like random bishops saying woke shit, like we should just let everybody in our countries, and this is the Christian way. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I get the argument about that. Like, Christians are supposed to be charitable and all that. But it's like, at the same time, there is obviously a level where, things become too much of a threat. And it's like, when do you have to be concerned about your own well-being, your family's well-being, community's well-being, the natives of the country or the community, to the extent of like, you have to choose sometimes. Like, it's either us or like this random group of thousands or millions of people who want to come here, and do we trust all of them? Do we know that they're all not going to be criminals or taking our wealth away in one way or another, whether it's welfare or something like that? We're wasting money on them, medical resources, you name it, welfare resources. You do have to make a choice at some point. And it seems like, the Catholics don't seem to care. It seems like the Catholic leadership, they don't seem to care about that. They don't care if their countries are being, like in Europe, are being overwhelmed. Churches are burning down all the time. I didn't know about these saints, statues, I imagine, and stuff like that being desecrated. Do you know? I mean, for one thing, what do you think about like that from the Catholic leadership? I mean, are they being influenced by I don't know, billionaires or some kind of dark fucking organization that's like trying to like destroy the organization, because it really doesn't seem like they're advocating for themselves anymore. And two, who are the people destroying these things? Who are the people that are desecrating these things for saints, or whether it's churches or whatever for Christians and Catholics?
Well, look, so some of the times it is just deranged, mentally ill individuals, but what they're saying and what they did, if you follow the fact pattern, and you turn that crime towards a Jewish New Yorker or towards a synagogue or towards a mosque or towards a Muslim New Yorker, the NYPD would deem it a hate crime, regardless.
Right,
you know,
totally.
Sometimes it's legitimate targeted attacks. You know what I mean? Of someone of sound mind. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different things, and that you know, you're always gonna like I said before you got on, like a hate crime isn't like this targeted planned thing. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna wait a week and then go get Nino because he's a Catholic. It's not that. It's a crime of opportunity, right? It's like you're walking on the block. I'm like, yeah, I could assault him and get away with it, and I'm gonna be like, you effing white loser, whatever. That's a hate crime, right? Like I was motivated in part. I was in part or a whole because of a factor. Like it motivated me, whether it was your religion or your race or your gender, your sexual preference, whatever it is, right? And so once it's motivated in part or in whole, that's a hate crime. But yet I see a consistent pattern that when that same thing happens, when that same fact pattern happens towards a white New Yorker or towards a Catholic New Yorker, it's never deemed a hate crime. You know, oh, you effing white women stabs a white woman in the neck. That's not a hate crime. If now in prior cases, when it comes to the flu, when it comes to other diseases, what did he say? That natural antibodies are stronger protections than taking a vaccine, right? He's the lead expert. Now, all of a sudden, he changed his mind for COVID, and you're telling me to believe a lie to go along with the world. And not only are you telling me to believe a lie to go along with the world, you're perfectly acceptable with the world bribing me. Take these French fries. Take this $500. Here, you can keep your career. You know what I was told in the New York City Police Department? Take it and we'll promote you to lieutenant special assignment. I'm like, look, do you know how devious that is? Like, do you know how sinful that would be for me to take that? Like, I can't do it. I was like, if you held me down and stuck that needle in my body, I could live with myself. You're not asking me to do that. You're asking me to kneel before Marxists and lie and deny my faith and tell you that I'm willing to accept a lie so that I can keep my profession. And the Catholic Church was perfectly acceptable for them to do it to Catholics, because what Bill de Blasio say, we don't have any. There's going to be no accommodations for Catholics. There's going to be very few for other religions. That is a pure violation, not only of the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, but it violates equal opportunity law. It violates equal opportunity policy across New York City, and it violates New York State Division of Human Rights law. So, and nobody said anything. And why'd they say nothing? Because Catholics did not stand up. They folded like cheap suits. They are not following in the footsteps of Jesus Christ. Just because you go to church every Sunday does not make you a believer. It just doesn't. We were taught to live like Jesus, not just go to church and accept the body and blood. That's not what we're supposed to do. So we don't have that strong advocacy. The Jewish community gets a lot of hate, but I respect them because they take care of each other. They take care of each other and they advocate for themselves. Do I agree all the time with everything they do? No, absolutely not. But they're advocating for their own community, and we should be doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's crazy how the Catholics are they're kind of like a non-entity in a lot of ways. I feel like, man, I grew up Catholic as well, and I just feel like I see churches, I feel like shutting down if they're not getting burned down. Like there's this, like they're kind of like just people don't go there anymore and stuff. There's some churches still open, some aren't. I remember they were open when I was younger, and it's just like in my area. But it's, there is no advocacy, there is no leadership. I'm seeing really, and it's a shame, because the Catholics used to be a powerful religious group, clearly a powerful political power, I'm sure, in a lot of ways. And now it's like, how do they let that happen? Did you Did you file a lawsuit against the city for that?
I'm in court with New York City right now. I have the only lawsuit against not only just against the religious mandate on it, but I also it's against the 30 for 30 movement in policing, which is they want to make 30% of the police department women by 2030. And the person that denied my religious accommodation, Dr. Tanya Meisenholder, who was never a cop, she was a leader without a badge. She was on podcasts during that time saying that, you know, most of the police departments knuckle draggers, they don't have the same morals as the newer generation. You know, the NYPD's too pale, too male, too stale. And so what I said was, and if you remember Eric Adams at the time, because there were so many of us that were forced out of the New York City Police Department, that it was a mass exodus, and people asked Adams, like, are you worried about what's happening? And he's like, no, it's a great chance to diversify the police department. And basically she reiterated the same thing. So they used the vaccine mandate to emasculate the NYPD, and get the right people out of policing. And that's my lawsuit. And you know, no Catholic organization has stood behind my lawsuit. No law enforcement agency has stood behind my lawsuit. And so I think we're just like in a weak, emasculated world, you know. And it's really sad, dude. It's just a really sad state of affairs.
I'm disgusted.
That's terrible.
By this. I'm genuinely disgusted by this. I did not know that you were having these issues. I didn't know, because I'm not Catholic. I was not raised Catholic. I was raised Protestant. And we have a lot in common in that regard, where we are called to serve God. Like the verse in the book of Acts, it says we must obey God rather than men. That is Saint Peter basically stood right there in front of the Sanhedrin and told the chief, the Pharisees, like, we have to obey God. Our responsibility is to God first, not to you. Please excuse me 1 second, guys. Keep talking. I'm right back.
And to that point, man, I mean, there's been, you know, I know the Catholics believe or they're supposed to believe in infallibility of the Pope, but gee whiz, I mean, we had so many popes in the past that we already know that's not true. Like that just isn't true. I mean, so many corrupt popes, like some of them are really, really bad people. And then recently, again, we've had like at least it seems like the last two popes have been pretty woke and saying some crazy shit and wild shit. So it's like, just to Isaiah's point, it's like, you know, you can still, I think you could still be a Catholic and not have to like believe and obey every single thing the Pope says. Like I don't really, and maybe that makes me not a Catholic anymore, but clearly that seems to be the case for me. They're not right about everything.
I don't think that's true. The Pope is fallible. He's a man. Yeah. We're all sinners. Yeah. You know, someone on here says, live like Jesus. That's a tall order. Look, we try. We're all sinners. We're all fallible. We fail every day. I know myself. I fail about 50 to 60 times a day, maybe more. You know, maybe more. You know, but it's recognizing that and trying that. And again, I just think that the Catholic Church has been severely emasculated. I think we teach Christianity. Jesus said with Peter, he said, upon this
rock I'll build my church.
Upon this rock I build my church. But that's not really what he said. He said, upon this rock I build my ecclesia. Upon this rock I build my government. So, and Catholics are not involved in the government. You know what I mean? And there was a call there for us to be involved in government. And I think any person should want to be involved in government, whether you're a person of faith or not, because that is your civic duty. That is your ultimate responsibility. Like, you want to take care of your kids. You want your kids to have a better life, but you're going to let other people dictate how your children are going to live when you're no longer here. You know, and so I know like that portion of it. And then when you look at Peter, I mean, the guy was unbelievable, dude. He was unbelievable. Fallible man, right? He follows Jesus around the world. Jesus lets him walk on water. He has him raise the dead. He has him create miracles. And then even to the point when Jesus says, you know, like they're going to crucify me tomorrow, Peter's like, I'll never let them do that to you. I'll never let them do that to you. And he stood up right in the Garden of Gethsemane, right? And he was brave enough to attack the soldier, cut the soldier's ear off, and Jesus healed him. And then immediately once they took Jesus away, Peter's a man like us all. He gains fear, right? He denies Jesus 3 times, right? Jesus told them before the cock crows, you're gonna. So totally fallible guy repents for everything he does, and then he lives his life preaching the message of Jesus for the rest of his life, right? To the point that he was threatened with crucifixion numerous times. And at the end of his life, Peter was crucified, but Peter said, yeah, whatever, I don't care. You could crucify me after going around. That's fine. But I cannot die the same way my Savior died. You have to crucify me upside down. I do not deserve to die the same way my Savior is. That is Christianity. That is masculinity. Like, that is someone that says, I don't care about your government. I'm going to tell the truth because I know it's the truth, because God told me it's the truth. I've seen it with my own eyes. And so, you know, those stories don't get told a lot to Catholics or Christians. And those are, you know, we see these paintings of the apostles and they're like these weak, timid old men, and they were anything but that. Jesus was not a soft man. He was a rebel. They were revolutionaries and they were tough guys. 12 of them traveled around the world that hated them. And the apostles were more of Jesus's bodyguards than they were of anything else. And what I see today is out of Catholics is we're apathetic and we're emasculated, and we will bend with the world, whether it's for our careers, whether it's just so people like us. It doesn't matter. Sorry for my rant, but it's like,
no, that's true. And I think Catholics and Christians need, in general, just real quick, guys, they need to start sticking together, because the rest of the world is sticking together, seemingly against them in a lot of ways. Not always. Sometimes it's just they're pursuing their own interests, and that doesn't always work for, like, say, you know, Catholics and Christians. Maybe they're not going after Catholics, Christians in that sense, but it's still going to affect them negatively. But like you said, like the Jews, like the Muslims, like the Muslim Brotherhood, they are going to look out for themselves and advocate for themselves as you expect that they would, right? As long as they're hopefully not, you know, committing crimes or anything like that. Why shouldn't Christians do that as well? Why shouldn't Catholics do that as well? And also, you know,
and why shouldn't white
advocate
men
together?
Do that also?
White men as well, yes,
you
of
know,
course. I mean, white people are becoming a minority in a lot.
I was speaking to a minority. I was speaking to a black leader yesterday because I pushed back a lot at the diversity, equity, inclusion, and I said, "Look, I got no problem with you advocating for your people. That I expect you as a man to do that. But when it crosses from advocacy for you to supremacy for you, that's where I have an issue with it, and that's when I'm going to stand up. I'm like, just because other white people aren't out here doing it doesn't mean I'm not going to. You know,
right?
Like,
real quick, guys. No, it's fine. It's
totally.
fine.
Totally.
We do have a super chat. I want to read that real quick.
Sure.
Illustrate Life, I hope I said that correctly, writes, Almighty God, we lift up the men and women in law enforcement who stand on the line between order and chaos, listening and canning green beans. Restore order, please. Amen to your first part. And the second part, do you deliver to New York State? I would definitely be interested in that. This guy, Sad Vader Dad. I don't know if I don't know if he's somebody you know, but he's been saying, like, over a religious hardship. Like, I'm guessing he's referencing the COVID the COVID mandates, and I'm like, I just want to, or maybe he's trying to. Like, I don't know. Sad Vader Dad, I'm going to put you, let me just ask you real quick. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this over a religious hardship? Are you trying to make fun of John or other people who who basically put their faith before the edicts of the state? I mean, what are you what are you getting at here?
Yeah, you know, it's something that I encounter often, like criticism of, you would leave your career over something like that. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, because this life is temporary and you're asking me to literally deny God. And, you know, for me, like, I'm not anti-big pharma. I mean, I have medicine in my house now. I've taken a lot of vaccines, you know, but I was literally told by NYPD doctors to not take the vaccine, and because I would have an adverse reaction because my antibodies were so high, because I had the infection for so long, and I got pneumonia from it, and I almost went out of the picture. So they were literally asking me to lie, and I had my whole career on the line. 18 years, 5.0 rated, never subject of discipline. I was ready to be a captain. I was literally loved by everyone, subordinates, my peers, my supervisors, the community. Everybody loved me until I said no. And I sat up for like, I want to say about 4 days. I couldn't sleep. And I would go to work on no sleep. And it was the only thing I could think of. And all I tried to do was convince myself to take this shot so that I could go on with my career, so that I could get my pension, the big pension that I deserved, that I worked for, so that I could follow through with all my hopes and my dreams and my retirement plans and all the things I still wanted to do in the New York City Police Department. And I was like, holy shit, I can't do it, because if I do it, I'm literally denying my faith, and this will be my biggest sin ever, and there's no coming back from this. And if I could do this, I could do anything. I could force my kid. I could have the state force my kids to do something they don't want. I'll force my kids something that the state doesn't want. There's no coming back for this for me. So like, people take it as it's a joke. It wasn't a joke for me. I mean, and I'm living proof that when you put your faith in God first, and you stand on integrity and you stand on truth, you'll be outcasted into the desert 100%, but there will be manna put in your way. So, and you know, I'm not I don't regret anything I ever did. I regret the fact that I was silent about it for a while and I wasn't loud about it. That's the only thing I regret.
A man's got to have his boundaries, man, and his lines.
Man's got to have his boundaries. I do want to ask you a couple of things. Because there were, like, we talk a lot about, we just to kind of circle back on something that we talked about in terms of the corruption of the current police department, right? It appears that some of the corruption is spreading to another department. I don't know if you heard of this, but from the New York Post, this happened today. Let me just scroll up here. Headline is New York police bigwig was getaway driver for her goon son in a gangland shooting. A high-ranking Westchester County police official drove a getaway car for her son.
That's bananas.
In an apparent gangland shooting in the Bronx, police sources said Tuesday. Jennifer Lackard, a deputy police commissioner with the Mount Vernon Police Department, was arrested at her home this morning, along with her son Chase Lackard, after the young man, who's 20 years old, after the young man allegedly shot at a group of rivals near the Bronx Criminal Court on June 29th at 11:57 p.m. He then rushed into her car before she drove off, according to sources. The pair were hit with attempted murder, attempted assault, criminal possession of a firearm, conspiracy, and reckless endangerment charges. How do you like that?
Well, I'll tell you, if only there were signs. If only there was signs, you know. I tweeted about it today, and I said something along the lines of, this is what happens when you put undeserving, inexperienced people in charge of police departments. And why is she there? Like I don't even need to look. She's there because of the diversity, equity, inclusion women. She's a twofer. She's a Black woman. They want her up there. They placed her up there. 2024. We're going to deep dive into this tomorrow on the Finest Unfiltered as well. So I suggest anyone that wants to learn more, definitely come there, because I'm sure Marlon and Eric got a lot. I know Marlon's deep diving into it right now as we speak. But from what I know of the case, just off the top of my head, in 2024, her son was shot by, guess who? The NYPD, right? So immediately,
many
you have a
such
commissioner.
cases.
She was the commissioner of Mount Vernon since 2020. She was placed there. There should have been an investigation into her. you know, what's going on with your son? Your son has gang ties in the Bronx. Are you aware of this? And so what happens after that in 2022 or 2024? 2024, he's shot. The DOJ goes into Mount Vernon and says, you know what? The Mount Vernon Police Department's so corrupt. Do you know who they appointed, the DOJ, the Department of Justice? Do you know who they appointed to oversee and root out the corruption in Mount Vernon Police Department?
Who?
The woman who we just arrested today for doing a drive-by.
No.
So like, it's systemic, dude. And you know, I've talked about this at length with the New York City Police Department about how the diversity push, it's honestly, it's upended policing. It's upended the New York City Police Department. You know, I got into it with a black executive earlier today. I put a video out on my Instagram. I didn't put it elsewhere. But where I said, look, you guys got handed the keys to the key. You got handed the keys to the kingdom. There's always been cronyism and nepotism, and anyone who takes over, whether it's the Italians, the Irish, the Muslims, whoever takes over, there will be cronyism and nepotism till the end of time. I'm like, but when you got handed the keys to the kingdom under the Eric Adams administration, you embarrassed yourself. You embarrassed the NYPD. You embarrassed the profession. And that is not a statement that I hold just for the New York City Police Department. Look at Mount Vernon, same thing true, unqualified, undeserving, and then we're shocked. It's like, how come that investigation didn't yield any fruit? Like, she should have been immediately investigated. Instead of her being investigated, we have her investigating the Mount Vernon Police Department to root out corruption. How was she involved in a drive-by shooting outside of Bronx Criminal Court with her son? Was she driving a department vehicle? I would say more than likely, because she was probably, I would also say more than likely, she was probably at work. Supposedly at work. How does her son go into Bronx Criminal Court with a firearm? He doesn't. He can't get in there with a firearm. So that means that he was like, oh, hold on, Mom, let me put this under the seat. And she knows he has an illegal firearm on him. So there's a lot of questions here. And like I said, if only there was some signs. Well, guess what? Not only was there smoke, the building was on fire and the neighbor's house was burning, and no one did a damn thing.
Well, I mean, well, you know what? I live in New Rochelle. We're just north of Mount Vernon. I think I was on the rooftop and saw the fucking smoke from my building. Okay, like
exactly,
it's like that. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, dude, I cannot believe that this is that's the case. Like, that is you know, this is why I don't even fuck with Mount Vernon. I've never there was a story that I had Damon Jones of the Publisher's Desk with the Black Westchester. I'm sure you've heard of him.
No, I know. Yeah.
Damon Jones was telling me a story about this cop who had retired, and he had gotten sick or something like that, and the commissioner and the mayor didn't want to give him his pension.
Yep.
Did you hear about that? Like,
yeah, no, I shared it on my social media. I went right at the mayor. I was like, this is absolute garbage. Like, this is unbelievable. He was like 5 days away from retirement, dude. The guy's literally on his deathbed, and they didn't want to give him his pension. But even bigger than his pension, they didn't want to give him the health benefits. You know what I mean? And so, like, you're literally killing this guy for 5 days. He was 5 days short. It's like,
5 days.
Meanwhile,
away.
You got your other commissioner. She's doing drive-bys while she's at work in a department vehicle. You know, I mean, come on, man. You couldn't have let some other employees donate time or donate money, and I'm sure the guys would have did it. You know what I mean? Because unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable.
That is disgusting. And I knew Mount Vernon was like, I knew Mount Vernon's police department was corrupt. I knew that because Mount Vernon is a fucking dump. Yeah. It's a dump of a town. I mean, it's like a severe hazard to drive through. Like, if you anybody who's ever driven across Sanford Boulevard, you know, you might need to file an insurance claim for your fucking axles. Okay, but here's the thing: like, I hate the fact that police departments have become so corrupt. I hate the fact that, you know what drives me crazy, John, more than anything? And Nino here will tell you, I hate fat cops. I hate fat cops. John, I'm telling John, I hate fat cops. Okay. You're not, like, in my honest opinion, you are not supposed to be, if a perp runs from you, you are supposed to be in shape enough to go after this guy. I don't understand, or maybe this is just the continued degradation of police departments. But if you got 400-pound cops struggling to walk a beat in New York City, I've seen them. Okay, if they ain't 400 pounds, then they're like these guys who are like 5'3" and barely 100 pounds soaking wet.
Or the women too, man.
Or the women.
Well, we got to make the department 30% women by 2030.
Yeah, I always thought that was crazy, man.
How do you do it? How do you do it without dumbing down standards to a point that where literally anybody could get on? That's what police work is grueling, dude. Like like standing out a parade when it's 102 degrees outside in the blistering sun, wearing a bulletproof vest, wearing boots, wearing polyester uniform, and a stupid graduation cap that you're wearing on top of your head. It's equivalent to torture, dude. Like your body is just sweating. How do you do that when you're overweight and out of shape? How do you do that? Because I was always in shape in the police department. I still stay in shape till today. And how the hell are you even surviving? The other thing is these people are so much more likely to be injured, and they all get disability pensions either for the heart bill. They say they got a bad heart. It's like, oh, no shit, they got a bad heart. Like, I can't believe it. Or they're like, blow out their knee stepping off the curb. And it's like, dude, or they smash their ankles stepping off the curb. And it's like, and then taxpayers are held on the line. You have less cops. Your police budget goes up. But it's all being done in the name of equity, diversity, equity, inclusion. We need more women. We need more Asian women. We need more this. How are we going to get these people to pass? Oh, well, they have a problem running a mile and a half. Oh, mile and a half runs racist. Let's get rid of it. Don't need to run a mile and a half anymore. It's racist. It's like, how the hell is running a mile and a half run racist? And it's just, oh, can't hop a wall. Women can't hop a wall. Get rid of the wall. Oh, women can't carry a dummy drag that's 150 pounds. Get rid of the dummy drag.
Dummy drags are racist. No,
yeah.
Like, and the only reason I can think of as to why all this stuff happens is because they do what they're told. These people will just simply do what they're told by the brass, by the political powers within that run New York City and all these other police departments in big cities. That's the only reason why I can think of why you would hire some 4'11" female with like a 55 with a 55-inch ass who can't run. You literally hired Mrs. Officer from the Lil Wayne and Bobby Valentino song.
Yeah, and not just and
it's like why in the hell is this even a thing? This should
not just
standards.
Running. Yeah, I mean, you're talking like not just running. I mean, it's like what happens when you got in a physical altercation and it's just you and your partner is like this little woman, and almost any woman. It's just you're at a disadvantage. Like you'd rather have like a short guy most of the time. And yeah, there might be a few exceptions where a woman's just like fucking unbelievable soldier and she's the fucking Black Widow or something. But most of the time you're at a physical. This is just like you wouldn't like if you're about to get in a fight with some guys, you're not gonna be like, yo, let me call my sister up. Let me call my wife up. But me and my wife are gonna go fuck these guys up. No,
yeah, I'm gonna call Nino and Isaiah. I'm not calling. I'm not calling
my boys.
I'm not calling the car crew that not even 5 feet when they're on each other's shoulders and they're 100 pounds. Like, or they're.
It's a huge disadvantage.
It's funny you mentioned
there's nothing sexist about that. It's just how it is. And like I just want to say, like hang on, Isaiah, the just real quick. Like I've seen so many videos on the streets, on the and in person too, and on the streets, subways of like a guy having to wrestle some big homeless dude who's crazy. And then he's got his, the woman cop with him and she's falling on the ground and she can't do anything. She can't, she's getting scared. It's like, this is a liability for people's like safety, man. I mean, clearly it's like, like it's very dangerous. And then sometimes people jump in and stomp the cops and shit. It's like you need to have a couple men with you for these kind of situations, man. I mean, I don't get it. It's ridiculous. Anyways, go ahead, Isaiah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because John, we were last week when we went to go support our good friend and fellow apostate, Mr. Adam Coleman, and we went to support. We went to go check out a documentary he's working on.
Oh, awesome! I love Adam. Yeah, great.
Yeah, Adam's a great guy.
Yeah, it's great documentary.
Literally one of the most talented people I have ever come across. Can't wait for you to see what he's got in store. But we were told by Adam that that Apostate Radio is the tallest podcast that he's ever come across.
Yes,
because I'm 6'3". Nino's pretty tall too. Nino's
about 6'2".
About 6. Yeah, he's like an inch shorter than I am. Yeah. And so when we're standing up there, it's like, listen, Apostate Radio Security Services.
Yeah.
It could happen.
But not to cut you guys off, but either former NYPD Inspector Ron Layson or former NYPD Chief Rob Lukash, they weighed in on the executive perspective, and they're in the chat, and they're saying about they're saying this is some exclusive information here. It says, I'm being told her husband, talking about the commissioner in Mount Vernon who was arrested, was also alleged to have been in the car and did federal time on a RICO case.
Oh my God.
So she has criminal association all over the place.
Get the fuck out of here!
Huge red flag. So like I said,
he did federal time in a RICO case.
If only there were signs.
Unbelievable.
Don't worry, she was investigating the corruption, and I'm sure that investigation was competently and efficiently done. Yeah, there's nothing to see here.
Oh my God, babe, yo, because I had just before the show started.
That's too much, man.
I had just told
much for me.
I had read this story to Kareem, and now you're telling me
that's bananas, dude.
Yeah. Babe,
that's so ridiculous.
Hold on a second. The guy who the lady I read to you.
Can't take
the
shit.
New York Post. Her husband is alleged to have been in the car too, and he did Fed time on a RICO case. I am live right now.
I thought something happened to you.
I'm sorry. Oh my God, I am.
I thought like you were injured.
I am. No. Actually, no. My mind is blown right now, babe.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad you're okay. You just scared the shit out of me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, we'll talk about that.
I'm.
Isaiah, don't yell like that, man. Come on, man.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's unbelievable, though, dude.
It is unbelievable.
The son was shot in 2024 by the NYPD. She gets put in charge. Her husband's in jail on a RICO case, and she gets put in charge of cleaning up corruption in the NYPD. And you know what her other job was? Her other job was she was going to work to bring down youth violence.
And shout to Ron Layson for coming in the chat and also this let me see, what was the other one? The executive.
That's funny, dude.
Podcast. This is.
So she was brought in to also bring down youth violence. She couldn't even do that in her own household.
She couldn't even do it in her own home.
Is that right, John?
Yeah, that's exactly.
I got that right.
Like, yeah, my son got shot by the cops carrying a gun. Let's put her in charge. Like, you know about youth violence, right? Yeah, no, I know about. Sometimes I'm even.
I know she does know a lot about youth violence.
Sometimes she's even the getaway driver. You know?
Oh my God!
And I still want to know because it wasn't said in the paper. Was it a department vehicle?
I can't think.
And was she supposedly at work? Because I would bet money that is the case. I would bet money.
I bet you you're right. Yeah, I mean, she probably thought it'd probably be even better if she's in her car because maybe she'll get away from the cops easier or something. Like, oh no, we know her. She's the check her license plate. That's the that's the commissioner. So
no, it's the commissioner. She's cleaning up corruption. She's cleaning up corruption.
She's working overtime.
She's working on youth violence program. You know,
she's out in these streets at night fighting corruption. So wait, John, let me get this straight though. So Did you say her son was already got shot in before she got the job? Or
while she had the job.
While she had the job, okay. And then in the RICO case was, I don't know when.
I don't know. I don't know the dates on that. We'd have to look that up. So,
if that happened beforehand, you'd have to think like, whoever's hiring her would be like, I don't know. So her husband. So wait. So her husband is a
But when you think about it, this is what the left wants, though, right? Because what are they?
That's right.
You're not a jailbird. What are you? You're a justice-involved individual, and we have these justice-involved individuals out on the street, and now they're working to provide public safety.
Justice involved.
That's
funny. I mean, look at. Like Mondani has somebody on his staff was a felon or something like that, right?
The commissioner of corrections, like literally, the term. You ever hear the term? The prisoners are running the asylum.
Yeah,
that is actually the case in New York City. The commissioner of corrections in New York City served time in jail.
Yep, and also he seems to like to spend a lot of time in the prisons too. Mondani, he's just hanging out with everybody, getting lunch. With the prisoners.
Like I said, they're the good people. Stalin released all the prisoners and put all of the political opposition in the jails. And who were the guards? The prisoners.
Yep.
Someone called me to do a show, and they wanted me and Eric to do a show where they wanted to put us in prison. And they wanted to put us in prison. And I was like, I'm good. I already know your show. I don't know about, but I guarantee you want to stick us in prison and you want to have prisoners be the prison guards. I'm like, I'm good. I don't know what the hell Eric wants to do, but I'm out. I'm not doing it.
Was it like a reality show?
I'm not finding no waivers with that.
Was it like a reality show, John?
Yeah, it was like a reality show.
Yeah, that probably was what
I signed the NDA, so I can't say where, but like it was.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, no, I'm good.
So I got
good choice.
Yeah,
I gotta. So I have to ask you this next question, because we are just off. We are just off the rails now. Oh my God! Yeah, that was something. Vicky Palladino, our the councilwoman in Queens, and a good lady. I really want to meet Vicky. I would love to have her on the show.
Yeah,
like I would really love to have her on. She wrote something a while back, and I think she's on to something. I'm gonna read through this thing. She's been on Zohran's ass, basically even before before he was elected, and I really think that she's on to something with this. She writes. This was this was written July 11th. I've said this before, and I'll say this, and I'll say it again. We are in a soft secession under Zohran. He considers New York an independent city-state with its own foreign policy, immigration policy, and economic policy. He does not recognize the authority of the federal government, except to the extent he can extract money or political wins from it. The intent is to use the resources and authority of New York City to wage war against the federal government and the rest of the country. The DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, is quite open about it. They're telling us what they plan to do, and Zohran is executing. This is the context of this is from the meeting that he took with the Iranians behind the city, behind the country's back, by the federal government's back. But it's those first two paragraphs that I'm thinking Vicky was on to something. And I want to ask you, as somebody who worked, the native New Yorker, lived here, worked here, well, not here, but you get what I mean. What do you think?
I totally agree with her statement, except for the part where it specifically mentions Zohran and the DSA. because I think that it needs to be replaced with New York Democrats. And it holds exactly true to everything they would do. The only difference, in my opinion, between the Democratic Socialists of America and the legacy traditional Democrat Party is one supports the Palestinian state and the other one supports Israel. They only differ on foreign policy when you look fiscally, locally, nationally, when you look at ICE, immigration, every other single policy, the Democrat Party and the DSA move in lockstep. So I don't even like parsing them out as different, because I think we're doing a huge disservice to ourselves and to this country by trying to say like a guy like Hakeem Jeffries is really any different than a Zohran Mamdani. And I think there are some slight differences. Like I said, the support of Israel or the support of Iran or Palestine, whatever. But other than that, I don't see any differences. They all have been doing this. This is decades in the making in New York City, 2 decades in the making in New York City. New York, I call it the People's Republic of New York. I literally tell everyone, I was like, wow, I didn't even realize a lot of things because I didn't realize I didn't live in America when I was in New York City. And I think that that is absolutely true. They don't believe in the Constitution of the United States. They don't believe in federal law. Look what just got shot down today. A Supreme Court judge said that, in fact, ICE could wear masks. And you have all these Democrats going insane saying that ICE needs to be abolished. They're criminals. They want to. They're enforcing federal immigration law. Every country that these people travel to, they go through their immigration policies. They get their little visas or whatever they need, or their passports. They follow every other nation's immigration law, but they have no problem with it. But they only have a problem with America enforcing their immigration law. So I think that the DSA and Zohran Mamdani is just as radical as your plain old Democrat. Now, are there some Democrats that's not true for? Yes, but they're not even close. They're very few and far between. You got a guy like Foolywang in Queens. We have the former councilman, Bob Holden. They're Democrats, but they're conservative Democrats, and they're very few. They're a rare breed of Democrat. There's not many of them. There's probably a handful of others that I could say. The rest of them align completely with the DSA on local and national policy. The only difference is international, in my opinion. So, but I agree with her statement. It's true. It's a true statement, but I just don't think it goes far enough.
Yeah, it goes. I mean, nationally too. I mean, like Pete Buttigieg, right, who's considered probably like a little bit more of a moderate Democrat, sort of, in some ways, a little bit farther left. But, you know, he was just quoted saying today in like some video or recently that they want to like, you know, pack the Supreme Court, just increase the number of Supreme Court people, and figure out a way to make it so they're not biased. I'm like, yeah. I'm sure, like, you know, so because, you know, obviously he's pissed off. There's a few more justices who are more right leaning, and they just have absolute control over everything. They can't have any kind of balance of powers, any kind of checks of power. Conservatives can't be in charge of anything. They can't be. It's like, you know, it's completely illegitimate if they get elected the president. Can't have any professors that are conservative. You name it. Like, there's no teachers, can't teach anything like that. It's like, it's crazy. Like, you're allowed to teach basically communism in universities, but imagine if there was like also like a far right Nazi professor in every university, just one, and just one in one university. You know, it'd be like, holy shit, there's no way you could do this. But like, you can have several Marxist professors, straight up communist professors, in so many universities, especially the elite ones. And that's like, nah, that's fine. I mean, it's just freedom, academic freedom. It's like it's radicalization. It's complete brainwashing. It's not education.
Repressive tolerance.
Yeah, but it's like, but you can't even have a conservative, let alone a far right guy talking. Which I agree. You shouldn't have a goddamn professor that's indoctrinating people in Nazism. One thing's still in the history. One thing's doing the history. Like, you can have maybe a history of communism guy, but if you're sitting there being like, well, you know, never really been tried, it's really good, you know, and America's really bad, and white people are really bad, and it's like, and that's just a whole class that's like, oh my God, men are so bad. Like, how is that allowed in universities that are federally funded or state funded, at least? Like, maybe you can have I'm saying you can have a private university, totally privately funded, and you want to be a total radical, a radical indoctrination camp. I'm like, okay, you know, that's America. You can pay for that and have your kids go to that. But like, how are they getting any federal funding or state funding when they do that is beyond me.
Well, how's any of these Democratic states getting federal funding is beyond me too at this point. I
Especially
just
with all the fraud too.
Ron, my phone's dead. I know you said check your text, but I'm usually not prepared. I'm usually prepared for the mornings. I wasn't prepared for the afternoon, so I have my charger with me. So.
Oh damn! We got a lot of we got a
Cafecito breaks here, man.
Yeah, Rosangel, ¿cómo está?
Rosangel, thanks for jumping in.
Cafecito break. Best journalist out there on the ground, New York City.
She's great. She's great. Yeah.
She is somebody. She's another lady. I really want to talk to and meet in person. And I'm gonna make. God is my witness. I'm gonna make it happen one of these days. Let's see. What else? We've covered a lot of. Oh wait, there was another thing. There was something else. This will put a smile on your face. Another story that came out today. Oh, he sent to. Oh wait. Ron Layson said I sent an article on the husband's arrest. You know what? Ron, sir, I appreciate you being here. Could you drop a link to that? Could you drop that link in the chat? Because I will, because I will click on it, we'll read it, and we'll react to it live while everybody's here.
Yeah. We're definitely we're gonna be talking about that tomorrow, Ron. Like that's the main topic.
Okay, all right. So,
No, do it. I don't care. No, I don't care. Do it. Well,
that should be good.
We don't hold any punches. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Well, I know, John. I know you guys don't. I'm just saying, like.
No, but I'm saying, cover it if you want to cover it. I don't mind. It's.
Yeah, I mean, we're rolling here. But real quick, this is Apostate Radio, episode 61. We are back. ILC. Nino Sabio to your right. Below us here is the good Lieutenant John Macari. We had Zeek Arkham on earlier. We are grateful that he was on because homie had one in the chamber for a previous guest. Oh boy, that was great. While we wait for that link that Ron sent you. I do want to go over this because I feel like this is a feel-good story. Okay. Male heroism is, heroism is missing in today's society, right? Men don't want to go out and take risks or stand on business for what's right. Okay. But this guy did. And I want to get your reactions to it, gentlemen. Headline again from the New York Post. Dad poses as an 11-year-old daughter on TikTok and lures her alleged rapist to the home to shoot him. Yes, an Ohio.
I got no problem with it.
Great.
Dad pretended to be.
That's wonderful.
An Ohio dad pretended to be his 11-year-old daughter on TikTok, so he could lure his alleged rapist to his home, where he shot him twice. Diego Montoya Gonzalez, 20. Was shot by dad hero Malik Chandler, 31, in July after the 11-year-old's mother discovered a video on their daughter's phone that showed him sexually assaulting the girl at their Grove City, Ohio home, prosecutors said. The next day, Chandler pretended to be his daughter on TikTok to get Montoya Gonzalez back to their home, where he shot him twice, WNBS reported. He told investigators he intended to just beat up Montoya Gonzalez, hold him there, and then call police. But he thought he saw the alleged sicko reach for a gun in his pocket, picked up his gun off the counter, and opened fire. When police arrived on the scene, they found Montoya Gonzalez sitting in a chair with 2 gunshot wounds. He was transported to Grant Medical Center in Columbus, according to WHIO. Chandler was charged with felony assault, and his bond was set at $100,000. He should be set free. Montoya Gonzalez was indicted by a grand jury on Friday on 5 counts of pandering sexually oriented material, 2 counts of rape, and 1 count of obstruction of official business. I don't know about you.
That's a feel-good story, man. I love feel-good news stories, man. Few and far between.
The only thing wrong with that story is the father's facing more time than the rapist.
Yeah.
And,
how much time
honestly,
is he facing?
The way that the title reads versus the story, the title's manipulated. He lured him to shoot him, but I read that he lured him to hold him for the cops to get him so that the cops could get him. And then in self-defense, he shot him. So I got no issue with that story at all. Shout out to Malik Chandler. I think that's a real man. You got to take care of your family. And sometimes, cops aren't always going to be there to do it for you, and it's, to me, that sounds like a malicious prosecution. That's absolutely bullshit. Somebody raped your daughter and showed up again at your house to rape her again. It seems like a pretty violent act to me.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But
how much time is he facing? I missed that part. How much time is he facing? The father.
I don't know the state, but they just gave him the counts, like because of the shooting. You know what I mean? They just gave him the counts, aggravated assault, all that stuff. So I don't know the state. I don't know what they charge, and that's what they carry in that state.
Okay.
But a lot more serious than rape, I bet. So,
man,
probably. That's awful.
I hope he doesn't have to do any time. I mean, it's probably wishful thinking, but
he probably is. He probably is. I mean, it's unfortunate, but the thing is, they don't want law and order. I have never been more convinced in my life that that leftists, because again, with these malicious prosecutions and everything else, they don't want law and order. And they don't, but at the same time, they don't want people to get the feeling that they can actually do things too. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want people to know and understand that they can defend themselves. They would outlaw self-defense. I mean, that's why do you think they want to either make gun ownership as hard as difficult as possible, or as they've done in certain places, just outright fucking ban gun ownership?
Apparently in California, if somebody breaks into your house, you just got to let them take your shit. I mean, you're not allowed to shoot him, not allowed to do anything, not allowed to attack him. You're supposed to leave the house, I think is what what it is. You're supposed to leave and just let them steal your shit. Maybe they'll harm somebody in the house. I don't know.
Yeah, they tell you to run. You have a duty. What is it called, John? They give a duty to retreat.
Duty to retreat.
I'm not going to retreat, bro. Again, it is.
That's so crazy. That is so crazy.
It's incentivized cowardice.
It's also incentivizing crime and invasions, home invasions, because for example, the cops aren't really going to find these people half the time, right? They're really going to find them, not going to really try to go after them, especially like California, LA, or whatever. So you're just like, you can just go into this rich person's house or any person's house, steal their shit. Maybe they got some jewelry, maybe they got some money, maybe they got something that's really valuable. Steal their phones, I don't know, and they can't do anything about it, and we're not going to get arrested. So what the hell's stopping them from doing that? Especially if you're
and the mayor just put out a list of all the $1 million homes that aren't occupied for.
Exactly. Fucking dude.
Wow.
Did you see, John? Yeah. Did you see the guy who this liberal commentator? He's on CNN a lot, and he was on some podcast with, they're like 2 CNN contributors or whatever, and he is Scott Galloway, that's his name. Scott Galloway, was talking about this. He was like, I got doxxed.
Oh, wow.
I got doxxed. Yeah, he was on the list.
He's an NYU professor.
How does it feel, Scott?
Yeah.
And again, it's like these what do they call stupid people, or smart stupid people who advocate basically for their own destruction. Their oikophobia has gotten the best of them, and then they wake up one morning and they're on a goddamn Kulaks list. How about that?
But what happens is they'll just leave that state. They're like locusts. They go into an area. They take up all the good grain. It's all gone. They completely change it. And then they're like, I just want to go home back to my neighborhood. I don't want to live this urban lifestyle anymore. And then next thing you know, they're in North Florida, or they're back in Texas, or they're back in Milwaukee, or they're back wherever they're from. And they're like, yeah, no, I love it there. I hate this state, but I had to move here for the safety of my family. But I hate the politics. That's like a thing around Florida too. I love Florida, but I hate the politics of it. It's like, no, you love the politics of it. That's why you left Chicago.
Exactly.
That's why you left LA. That's why you left New York City, because you ruined it. And now you want to come here and you want to ruin this. And then you're going to say, oh, no, I'm just going to move somewhere else now. I'm going to move to another conservative state. Like, no, don't. You know,
you want all the benefits. Like, it's like you want all the benefits of a conservative state. You like the safety of a red state.
Yep.
You like the economic opportunities of a red state.
Less taxes.
Right, exactly. You want less taxes in your pocket that you would get with from a red state, but you don't actually want to live in a red state. And it's like, you guys got to make up your fucking minds. You guys got to make it. Like, I've never seen anything like it. But again, this is what happens when we're dealing with people who have no principles. They have no principles. They have no morals. It's just me all the way home.
Well, but dude, they think like how dumb you are when you were a kid, and like you just get out of school, right? Or like you're in school. Like that's them at 40 years old. You know what I mean? They haven't
fucking grown at all.
They never
grown
had
at all.
to have any responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so they have this theorized view of the world that they can't practicalize it and put it into place. It's like if you ran your household like this, you collapse in a month. But yet you think the government can sustain, like, you know, and so that's the problem with a lot of the leftist mind is, you know, I always say, like, I make fun of like all the lefties in my neighborhood. I was like, you know, I never believed in white privilege until I moved here. And now I see that that you guys are real privileged motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, same. Bro, when I moved up here, when I moved here to New York 11 years ago, because I lived in Maryland where I grew up. And it was the same thing, bro. I remember saying, I do not believe in white privilege.
Yeah.
And then I moved to New York City. And then I lived in New York City for 11 years. And then 10 years and change. And then I, you know, dated and married, you know, I'm trying to start a family up here. You see this and you're like, you know what? During COVID, I really parsed out the fact that white privilege does exist, because the richest, I said this because my wife and I years ago, we went to a Shakespeare in the Park thing. This had to be like 22 or 21, right? And we go, it's outdoors, okay? It's in the Upper West Side. It's on the Upper West Side. We go and we're all outdoors. They're making people show their vaccination card, and then telling people that they had to wear a mask outside. You hear me? Outside. So you show your vaccination card, then you got to put on a mask, and I would have none of it. I would have none of it. I'll never forget, like, my wife went and, you know, she went, put on a mask. She and her cousin went, put on a mask. I was like, I'll wait out here. I'll wait out here, because there was no way I'm doing this whole mask, this whole mask dance. You know, like, we're outside.
Yeah. And
it was a Shakespeare in a Park thing. And one of them, like, I'll never forget, one of the characters was in a fucking wheelchair. Like, it was DEI Shakespeare. It was basically what it was. And the most evil character is in the wheelchair, obviously. So, and it's just like, I couldn't stand it. I could not stand it. That was when I figured, the whiter and more affluent the neighborhood, the more Like the crazier the COVID behavior was.
What was the more morality that they have? They drive bikes, they wear masks, even though they're vaccinated for you. But they'll run you over on their bike and not think a damn thing of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you're doing it for me. You're wearing the mask for me, but yet you almost ran me over for no reason.
On the sidewalk.
Yeah. That was
on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
In your e-bike that is heavier. Like you know what? I could go on for that. I do have that link. Winston-Salem nonprofit. This happened back in 2012. This from WXII. A co-owner of a Winston-Salem nonprofit substance abuse and mental health treatment center is facing federal drug conspiracy charges. The Winston-Salem Journal reported that 41-year-old James O'Brien Lackard was arrested last week on a charge of conspiracy to distribute heroin. Authorities say Lackard owns a car customizing business and told informants about ways to place illegal drugs in hidden compartments inside cars. Lackard is a co-owner of the Ivy House Center for Self-Sufficiency, a nonprofit registered with the state of North Carolina since February of 2007. The center provides substance abuse outpatient treatment and classes for those charged with driving while intoxicated. Lackard remains in federal custody and faces a bond hearing. It wasn't clear if he had Jesus Christ.
Oh, shocker. Nonprofit with corruption, working with substance abuse while selling drugs. It's almost like all the violence interventions and all of the ones that are trying to prevent gun violence, and yet they continue to get arrested with guns and drugs on them across New York City. It's so weird. Like, who would have ever thought? Once you said nonprofit, I was like, oh, yeah, of course. But listen, it's the same grift.
My hometown of Baltimore, like this guy, I can't remember. There's a nonprofit in Baltimore, and for the life of me, like the name of it is right on the brand. Like the mayor of Baltimore, Brandon Scott, had worked with them extensively to get to end gun violence and all that. I can't remember the name of it, the nonprofit, but turns out same thing. Several like a couple of the guys within that nonprofit went to prison for gun violence, for robbery, while the nonprofit was active.
Yeah, shocker. Yeah, you know what's funny about Baltimore and Brandon Scott?
What
Crime
about
absolutely down there too, and they're at historic lows there too. So it's amazing. It's amazing. It's almost like someone waved the wand.
Well, hold on. Baltimore's different,
man.
Baltimore's different. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because Baltimore, the crime is down in Baltimore in spite of Brandon Scott. Because please understand, if
I don't think so.
Brandon Scott, no, I'm gonna tell you, Brandon Scott would be Zohran Mamdani. And I'm saying this is somebody who has known Brandon for over 15 years. I have known Brandon Scott when I've known him since he was a city councilman in the 2nd district. Okay. This guy, the way I don't know what the deal is because he didn't start off this way, but he would let crime run rampant in his town. But the reason why it has not happened is because the attorney general is the state's attorney, Baltimore state's attorney, Ivan Bates, is the exact opposite of Alvin Bragg in Manhattan. Ivan Bates is prosecuting. Ivan Bates is putting these fuckers away when they commit crime. He's doing the exact opposite of what these other DAs and state's attorneys do. So like I said, it's happened. So Baltimore's historic lows might, when it comes to crime, might just be legit. It's just the rest of the fucking city that's falling apart down there. That's where I don't believe it. Like, you look at the harbor, I mean, it's a shell of what it was 10 years ago. And so I think, and so like when you're telling me crime's down and at historic lows, I'm like, then why? What's up with your business community? Like, why is nobody down here? Like, what happened? You know what's going on? Because they're constantly being hollowed out. I mean, Harbor Place right now, the Inner Harbor 10 years ago, 15 years ago, bustling. Okay. Harbor Place in the Gallery. I give like you obviously know about it.
Yeah.
You had multiple restaurants. You had like, and I'm talking franchises. You had Cheesecake Factory. You had Phillips. You had all sorts of stuff down there. Okay. You had Ripley's, but they had like the Ripley's Believe It or Not museums and stuff. Like there was attractions in the pavilions. All that's gone.
Yep.
All that's gone. The gallery, which was the 4-story mall across the street on Pratt and Calvert, closed since 2020, at least. All this, there's been no shopping there for years. Then come to find out that they're working on something right now to build like these massive residential towers, because you know that's like the thing now. Everybody wants to live in luxury high rises and shit. Luxury high rises that will literally block off Pratt Street from the views of the harbor. Okay, they're basically going to turn Federal Hill and the Inner Harbor into backdrops for Zoom calls. So that your downwardly mobile laptop class assholes can basically come down there, spend $5,000 a month to live in Baltimore City, and also the street that's right next to it, Calvert Street. They want to take McKeldin Plaza. They want to close Calvert Street. They want to close Calvert Street and turn it into like a giant pedestrian plaza.
Yep.
It's the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. And it's like, you know that part in Jurassic Park where Jeff Goldblum's character, Ian Malcolm, says, you're so worked up about, like, I'm paraphrasing, you're so worked up about whether or not you can do something that you never stop to think about whether you should do something. I like that's most of society right now. That's most of us right now. You know, I don't know, dude. What do you think of that? What do you know about Baltimore?
No, I mean, I just been there. You know, I've been there. I mean, you know, I was a big fan of The Wire. I didn't go to any of those areas, but you know, I've been to the harbor, and I just know that like it changed significantly over time. Went from a bustling area, went from an area where people like, yeah, it's nice there, it's great here, to yeah, don't go to the harbor no more.
John, you got to understand, Isaiah's been overtaken and brainwashed by the Amsterdam propaganda.
Yeah.
So he voted for Carcetti, and he's for Mayor Carcetti.
That's honestly, that's the most. I know it's not really a cop show. It's really a show about a city, The Wire. But that is the most accurate depiction of police work I ever seen. Like an accurate.
I love The Wire. I love
David Simon. I mean, when he's not when his Trump derangement syndrome ain't flaring up, like he's actually a very, very good writer, producer, and director. Like I just saw something. I think I don't know if it's his most recent series, but it's called The Deuce. Karine was watching. My wife was watching it yesterday.
Oh, that's like Step Back in Time, right? The Deuce that's about 42nd Street, I think, in the 70s, right?
Yeah,
because that's what they used to call 42nd Street, the Deuce.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. And now it's going back to the Deuce, you know. So going back, it looked great. It looked great.
Version of the Deuce.
It looked great after every next game in Madison Square Garden. It was amazing.
What do you?
Yeah. I bet. It looked.
Last question
Wonderful.
for you before we get out of here.
Yeah.
When are you running for mayor?
Never.
It's a two-parter, yeah. Because I knew that was the answer. Yeah. But the second part is, do you think the next mayor of New York City? What would the next mayor of New York? What would the next mayor of New York City look like to you?
I mean,
I personally what would they have to do.
Well, I mean, there's a lot that they have to do. So, I mean, like, I don't think that, by the way, I think that there's a good chance that Mamdani becomes a one-term mayor. And I think I'm looking at that because what I see is that more than likely, either Jessica Tisch or Julie Menon is going to run against him. And I think that they're viable candidates against him. Do I think that they could transform New York City and put it on the right path?
No.
I don't. And I got to be honest about that. Like, I don't, unless they came out in a really strong stance on a lot of issues and really started to move away from the Democratic Party, I don't think that they're going to be great for New York City, either one of them. And, you know, when I look on the Republican end of it, I honestly, the Republican Party, in my opinion, is not trying to win these elections. I've said it before. Look, I somewhat like Bruce Blakeman. I don't love him. You know what I mean? I somewhat like it, but I personally don't think they're trying to win this election. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't. I don't see it. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think Kathy Hochul's a lock-in. I think all the unions are going to vote for her. I think the overwhelming majority of unions are going to come out and back her. I think she's going to more than likely win in the landslide because I don't see the messaging correctly. And I think the same thing with mayor, like, who's running again? Now you got Sid Rosenberg, no shot. Curtis Sliwa, no shot. You got John Schell, no shot. I mean, like, come on. I wouldn't be shocked if the GOP called me and asked me, do you want to run for mayor? And my answer is going to absolutely be no. You know, but like, who do we have? Who do we have in the Republican Party? Like, I love Vicky Paladino, but she's not going to win. I love Joanne Ariola, but she's not going to win. I mean, Joe Borelli is a fucking fraud. You know, like, I mean, half of the New York Republicans are Democrats. I call them Republican Democrats. You know, I mean, more than half of them. You know, like Mike Tanusis, Mike Riley, like, they go along to get along. David Carr. So that's why I say I think that my strongest bets right now for mayor of New York City to beat Mamdani would be Jessica Tisch or Julie Menon. I think they would be better than him, but I think, you know, the city's in a lot of trouble right now, and I think we need just better than Mamdani because that's not hard, you know. So it's not like the bar's not that high. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with Blakeman. I think he would be better than Kathy Hochul, but I got to be honest, I don't think he'd be much better. I don't.
Do you think that Blakeman?
I think he's a Democrat Republican. He's a Republican Democrat, in my opinion.
You know what my problem with Blakeman is? I'm gonna say this. My problem with Blakeman is that his campaign push, his like the thing that he's selling people on is the fact that he's not Kathy Hochul.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's, you know, it's like, bro, I don't like, this is the thing that bothers me. Because I don't want somebody who's like just not Kathy Hochul. I get it. I absolutely get it. Right? Kathy Hochul wants to be governor of New York for the next 10 years. She wants to be governor until 2036. I got it on very good authority. That's her goal. She wants to be mayor of New York. She wants to be governor of New York for the next 10 years. You do not get that when I'm sorry, you cannot just simply be, I'm Bruce Blakeman, I'm not Kathy Hochul, vote for me. Just like when it comes to the next mayor of New York City. The next mayor of New York City, I'm gonna say this right now. The next mayor of New York City has to commit to ripping up every single bike lane, every single planter pot, every single street tree from every single street and avenue in every single borough of New York City. That, to me, that's first and foremost. The gridlock, this fake fucking gridlock has to be broken. Every single one of these pedestrian plazas, and I'm talking about even Times Square. I'm talking about Times Square. I'm talking about Union Square. I want to bring, I shouldn't say that because this is just my opinion. I want every single bike lane destroyed. I would go full Ed Koch. Full Ed Koch. I want them all. I want the local, the city speed limit. The city speed limit would be raised back to 35 mile an hour on streets like Grand Concourse, Queens Boulevard, and Ocean Parkway. The things that they are doing to destroy the middle class and render people either super, super rich or super, super poor, it must end. New York City is like an economic powerhouse, and it's being abused by communist theater kids. Something's got to give, and I don't know who's going to do it. The fact that Blakeman. Let me ask you this: do you know if Blakeman has committed to removing Zohran from power?
No, he absolutely has not said that. No, and look, I don't know that that's the thing either. Zohran won that election handily.
He did.
He got over 1 million votes. I think Blakeman's message will resonate with Republicans, but you don't need Republicans to win. You need Democrats to win. So you need to get out there in the black and brown communities.
Yes, you do. You don't want to do that.
And if you're not doing that, you're not going to win. And no. I don't see him doing it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I see him going to the Jewish community. I see him going to the Asian community. They're 50-50. You could get conservatives on both of them. You could get leftists on both of those communities. That's a 50-50 community. The black community the black and brown communities are overwhelmingly Democrat, and you need to win those people over in order to win elections.
Yes, you do.
And we're talking that, and there's a lot of people that was sold a bag of goods with Zohran Mamdani. Your fast and free buses went to just fast buses, and now you're seeing that you're not even getting fast buses. Your free grocery stores went to affordable grocery stores. All the things that you were told that you were going to get, you didn't get any of them. They lied to you. And so there's an opportunity there to really hone in on the working class of this city. But if you're not going to get out there and try to resonate with the working class of the city, and you want to run, I support Donald Trump and I support ICE, you're not winning. You need to have a real effective strategy, and you got to play it kind of to the hip. You got to resonate with Democrats, or you're not winning. It's just that simple.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show with us tonight, man. This has been a fantastic show. One for the history books, honestly. You've got a show in the morning, and I guess you're also working on some other stuff this week.
So we got the show. We got the show on Wednesday. We'll have, like I said, tomorrow morning. Myself, Marlon, Eric Dim. We're going to be discussing the incident that happened in Mount Vernon. We're going to deep dive into the police official's background, and should she have really been in policing? Because we've been touching on that a lot in recent times, about how the leadership has upended. Like our last episode we did, is the NYPD leadership woke? Has wokeism infected NYPD leadership? That was our last episode, which we did on Monday, and we touched on all of these issues with the corruption. So it's kind of just so fitting that the next day, all of the stuff we said comes true. So now we're going to deep dive further into that on Wednesday. We're also going to discuss another former NYPD chief who was basically forced out of the NYPD and took a plea settlement for allowing one of his workers to work from home for 5 months while also collecting overtime. No one knew about it. No one went through official channels. And he's actually just became a police chief in Maryland. So we're going to touch on that. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about what's occurring in the FDNY union and the rumors there, because we've been getting a lot of information from a lot of our firefighters that watch the episode. So we're just going to touch on that. Who's trying to leave union leadership in order to become a pensioner, and just a little bit of history on that guy and what he's involved in and his integrity levels. So we'll touch that. And and then that's it. And then Wednesday in the evening, Ron Layton and Rob Lukash they're going to be weighing in on a lot of the stuff that we didn't hit all week as well, and some of the stuff that we did. So yeah, that'll be us tomorrow. So anybody that wants to weigh in, please feel free, join us tomorrow 08:05 at the Finest Unfiltered on YouTube. We'd appreciate it if you could just do us a favor, like, share, subscribe. For everybody that's on here from the Finest Unfiltered, if you could help our friends over at Apostate Radio as well, do them a favor, like, share, subscribe, follow them over on social media. Great platform. We've been on numerous times. Eric's been on, and I consider both of these men a friend, and I consider them both men of integrity. And they care. They're not full of shit, and they tell how they really feel, and it's respect. It's a great platform.
Thank you, my brother. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, John. Same to you, brother.
Yes, you are indeed. And bro, we definitely, next time you're up here, we gotta set up a time to come to hang out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
totally.
I know it's gonna be tough with school coming up for you down there, but we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make something happen.
I'll be up. I'll probably be up in the fall, so I'll let you guys know. I just want to get my kids
that'd be good.
School and all that. So, but I'm more than likely be up in the fall, and then I'm always up for the holidays. I'm always up for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and then I spend a month in the summer. This summer I was kind of busy, and so I didn't see anybody. All my friends want to beat me up. I didn't really see anybody. I was like, you didn't even hang out with me. I'm like, I was just, I was running around, but
yeah, it happens.
We listen.
Yeah, I look forward to that. It'd be good.
We're men with families. We got shit to do, bro.
Yeah.
I got a wife who's recovering from surgery right now.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's taken up that took up all of July, and it's going to take, and it's going to take up most of the month of August too, which is fine. This was already in the plan. So, but yeah, nothing personal, nothing nothing against you, bro. We're gonna make it happen, and we appreciate you for shouting us out, man. That's our
totally.
Show. That's our show tonight, guys. We thank you all for joining us. Friday, so this is what we're doing because we don't have the work schedule, at least on my part, is funky. So Friday is our next show. Friday, which would be the 7th. We are having Dr. Charles Peschke, an old friend of mine, who will be talking about much of the mass formation psychosis and all of the things that we are seeing in our society right now. We're seeing a lot of craziness on a grand scale, and he's going to talk to us about it and everything that's been happening. We do hope that you will join us for that. And then we've got a couple of what happened?
No, mass formation psychosis. Like the people wearing the mask.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. So we've got that, and then next week, we've got 2 shows. Also trying to. I have one guest already lined up for Tuesday, and we're trying to work something out for Friday. If we have anything in between, of course, you can follow us at Apostate Radio NY, or follow me on X at Isaiah L. Carter. Follow Nino at Nino Sabio X. We are out. Have a great night. See you Friday.
Thanks, everybody.
Their enemies who vote for it. Open up the border, let the boats with the homeless in. Never trust a commie. Never trust a commie. Never trust a commie. Let's congratulate Mr. Mamdani. Never trust a communist. Never trust the promises. If you vote for it, you won't forget the consequence. Never trust the communist. Never trust the promises. If you vote for it, you won't forget the consequence. Cheers to the champagne socialists. No regret when they vote them in. So intense when they sold us in. Bodies on the floor, they don't notice them. None of you heard about the gulag. Stop for their food farms, barred in the gulags. The train left the station with a choo-choo. Nothing worse than the smile when they shoot you. Never trust a commie. Never trust a commie. Never trust a commie. Let's congratulate Mr. Mamdani. Never trust the communist. Never trust the promises. If you vote for it, you won't forget the cons. Never trust the communist. Never trust the promises. If you vote for it, you won't forget the cons.